Yeah, I sent it to you. Yeah, check your email. I sent it to you. You should have it. Yeah, you should have it. No, not until noon. Yeah, not until noon. Yep. At noon. Yep. Yeah, I will. I said I will. Yeah, I'll set it up. I'll set it up now. Yeah, hold on. Let me see something. Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you see it now? I said, can you, no, I didn't do that yet. I don't leave till 12:30. Yeah. No, I'm in AZ. It's only like 7:30. No, we work out at 6 in the morning, and then on the weekends, 8 a.m. Yep. I'm about to right now, bro. Yep. What I'm gonna do is send it to your email. Yeah, I'll send it to your email. Yep, I got it. Let me send it to your email. I won't forget, bro. I got you. All right. What's up, everybody? We're gonna break down some wisdom before I leave at noon. Hey, the other day I caught a Wemo, one of those driverless cars to campus. Man, it was crazy. It was a weird experience. But hold on one second. Let me see something. Apologies, everyone. I just got check something real fast. And we gonna get right into it. I said I'm gonna keep this database going, man. Cause maybe when my flesh is gone, what happened? We can pause. Hey, hold on one second, y'all. My systems is not working at this moment. It's just taking a second, so pardon me. Pardon me, pardon me, pardon me. There we go. I just don't know what's going on. But it's only technology. We got to work with the technology. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, good, good, good. So what? So what? That's happening. All right, all right. Now we can get back to the ballistics if you don't mind. Uh, Let me grab one more item. I think that fan is blowing a little too hot. I mean too high. A second. Get your pencils and your papers if you have to write something down. So I want to give it one more minute, if y'all don't mind. How's everyone doing this morning? I hope everybody doing good. But I want to give some little wisdom this morning. Like I said, we had an amazing workout this morning at 6 a.m. And brothers and sisters is welcome to join me. I'm gonna start going back live on my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel for my live workouts. Anyone can join. It doesn't matter. If you wanna join me live on Zoom, then I ask for a small donation, and I also give you a workout plan, and I do food preps. Uh, I teach a lot of ways you can make your concoctions in one of the books I gathered and compiled. I also go over a lot of wisdom and I share. Oh, I'm sorry. Holistic guides to wellness. I share all this with brothers and sisters. No gatekeeping with me. You don't have to buy nothing from me, but we do sell tea. I'm not gonna make a concoction and sell it for a whole bunch of money to try to get rich, because that's not what I do. A workman is due his hire, so I can show you how to do that. But if you want somebody to do it for you, then of course it's a charge, because that's a service. You know, I tell everyone, you choose whatever debt or whatever you want to buy, just like houses and things. You pay 3 times more than what the original borrower, what you borrowing most times at 10%. So just to keep that in your hippocampus. But a map and a guide will show the way. Just like I talk about when we say Moorish science. When we say Moorish science, not religious dogma, not some Islamic sect, not some brothers that say they want to overthrow some government. Yes, people may have backgrounds or might have done things, but that's not Moorish science. That's individuals. The fez, the turban, don't make you holy. The individual represents that. This is just an outward representation of what should be inside. This is a shemag, a kaifa. We also wear the turbans. That's our holy headdress. In the biblical scriptures, the high priest wore the turban with the jewel on it. The follower of Yahshua wore a bonnet, aka kufi, aka yarmulke. They wore the kuthra, or the tunic, cotton or silk, with the embroideries, with fringes. So those are beautiful garments. I just want to say that. And when we say Moorish science, it's only one science. It's only one Moorish science temple of America. It's only one Moorish science temple of America. It is a Moorish science temple of Chicago, Moorish science temple of Detroit. If it's the Moorish science temple of America, if it's the Moorish science temple of America, then anybody from that temple should have some basic understanding. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody say that when they say, let me see what brother just said. Brother said, to me, it keeps your thoughts locked in your tabernacle. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because everybody have their perspective or their degree of things. So let's just deal with okay. Okay, it keeps you in check. I understand your degree of that. It keeps you in check, keeps you in line. It keeps the so-called other half of yourself, which we may use in the vernacular and more science, the lower self in check, because you don't cut a part of you off to have righteousness. That pendulum should swing the same way to the left as it does to the right, because when narcissistic behavior is channeled with the right understanding and wisdom, it's good. I'm trying to tell you. So let's deal with some specifics, and then we're just gonna have a little walk. People be coming to me and saying they want to study more science, and people be like, "Well, you talking to Sheikh Khari Goodman Bey?" They say, "Forget more science in real life. This who this man is. This he done did that. The same way that you will see any prophet that have gone, any educator in the flesh. This man have done that. This man has done it in academia. This man has gone to prison. This man has helped so many regular people in real life. This man has helped so many people graduate from college. This man loved his people. No matter how nobody feel about me on social media, you know, I deal with brothers in real life. Real life. I travel on my own dime to go help people. On my own dime, I'm getting ready to go again. I'm getting ready to go to St. Louis. But the divine warning by our prophet Noble Drew Ali warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read the proclamation, you know, at each meeting. This is what it says. When you say it's a hard thing, now, well, that's what Noble said. I wouldn't say it's a hard thing. I'll say it's a work, because anything worth having is going to take some work. It's going to take some discipline. It's going to take sacrifice. So if we say those characteristics is hard, I just say we say that because it's in the land of unknowing. And when we use words that spells, and when we mirror things, the mirror don't know what's going on. We shoots the image that we portray in that mirror. When I use the vernacular, when I speak in wisdom, I say nothing is hard. It's just not learned. When we say hard, it's the opportunity to what? Be enlightened. It's the opportunity to be enlightened. Why? Because that's who we are. We're students. So it's the opportunity to be enlightened. You know the analogy when a lot of people don't know something, you know, I'm using the vernacular of NBCs. The first thing we do is diss something because we don't know, and we won't take the time to know or learn because we've been programmed. We're not using the mind. I've been talking about this mind all day, all week, and the levels of wisdom. Just like I saw a brother made a post, said, yeah, Noble Drew Ali learned all the wisdom from Helen Blavatsky. You know? He said, from Adam Blavatsky. I said, from Adam Blavatsky? I said, well, Adam Blavatsky was learned by Islamic Sufis. And when you start reading their documents, when they give credit to the wisdom, then we have to be like, well, you know what, I was wrong. Then you have to say what you've been told is not matter factual. Because we all been told some things. You've been told some Willie Lynch. You've been told some roots and all that. We've been told that those things is factual. They even made movies. You even see so-called families in documentaries saying that their family is from the lineage of some damn Kunta Kinte. Alex Haley said that was his family. But it's all fugazi. It's all fugazi. I say you take good wisdom and use good wisdom. Anything else must be, you know, but you don't diss things. As a scientist, you can't. As a scientist, you can't diss wisdom, especially if you can take the time and dig through the wisdom, aka just like a contract, like a music contract, a person would be so excited to sign. But then at the end of the day, when the glory days is over, when you can't perform and when you don't want to go on the road like that, you have no money. Why? Because you signed everything off. You signed the contract. Did you read the contract? Did you read certain words in the contract? A lot of times we don't. And sometimes if we don't understand the word or the origin or the root of the word, we look over it and try to arbitrarily explain what we think the word means. That's what we do sometimes. So, I just want to say from a more science perspective, I'm not saying this is right or this is wrong, because if anybody been to temples, then you can speak your piece. If people haven't been to temples, it's really nothing to say. What people can say is they may have heard. They may have saw people doing videos and saying this. You know what I mean? But if those individuals never been and stepped foots inside, I said foots, or step their feet inside of the Moorish Science Temple of America in your state, I think we're coming from a place of unknowing when they say all the temples have been infiltrated. Then I say, if I make that statement, or if individual make that statement, then what temples are infiltrated? See, we can't just throw accusations out there and say these temples are infiltrated. Now, what you can say, if you've been to temples, you can say, hey, man, I've been to these temples, and man, these brothers ain't consistent. You know what I mean? I've been to these temples, they're talking rhetoric. I've been to these temples, and it's poor science. I've been to these temples, and X, Y, Z, and blah, blah, blah. Yes, how? From experience. I've been to temples, and brothers never even had the Moorish Quran. I've been in the temple, Negroes closing the curtains. Like I said, what are y'all talking about? What y'all doing? That's so secretive. Because everything about the Moorish Science Temple is public information. So let's proceed. I hereby inform all members, the Moorish Science Temple is not no Islamic sect. It's not no government sect. It's a school. If anybody don't understand that, we misconstrued the Moorish Science Temple of America and what it was created for. So now we have to be talking about fascist groups. Are you a Moor by birth? Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying you're not. You can be whatever you want. You have that right, Declaration of Human Rights. But when we talk about Moorish science and what Noble Drew Ali ordained and established in the flesh, if it's not based on the tenets and the ordinance of how Noble Drew Ali did it and what it promulgates, then it's not Moorish Science Temple of America. Some people may broke off and did their own thing, like Clarence X of the 5%ers for whatever reasons, but you can't say that the 5%ers per se is the discipline of the Nation of Islam. Why? Because they split off. Now, let's go to the vernacular of the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, and why I say I wanted to create a school instead of dealing with rhetoric, instead of dealing with temples and not being consistent, and they're not open, and brothers not really on the square, and they're not being active in the community and acting like it's some old criminal secret, lower level Negro masonry or some other old criminal gang stuff. I'm not going to be a part of that. I've ran across so many Moors across all the states as I travel, and the average Moor is confused. I said, how can you be confused if you say you have a sheep? What are y'all learning? Oh man, they showing me how to file this bill and all this and that, and cancel corporate debt. I said, that's not Moorish science. That's Roger Elvick, sovereign citizen militia group dumb stuff. Paradigm group, that's European Albion trailer dyke stuff. That's not Moorish science. That's not Moorish science. If anybody say that, they are lying, and they are teaching you how to be a criminal. Always doing the ways of the other man. When I say, when you do things that's not your culture, you always get in trouble. These is keys. And I'm just giving keys from love. Everybody should love wisdom. Everybody should love wisdom. But I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from God. In the vernacular Moorish science, they say Allah, okay, whatever, for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they must turn in their car and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where either prophet found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is the everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. What's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Why? More should break basic things to keep you on your square so you won't go outside or something, and when you get in trouble, and you say, okay, well, these Moors say to help you, and you learn this from this and this, and they dry up with all that Negro colorable law stuff. And when I say everything about the temple is free access, when I talk about the CCRD, which is County or Clerk Recorder of Deeds, when Moors be lying about some 101099, there's some trust fund at the end of the rainbow, you can get the letter with the seal on it or without the seal, just like how you can get your college documents or any certified documents. People know what I'm talking about. And this is right here is how the temple is established. So when anybody say it's Moorish Science Temple of America, if it's not set up the right way, teaching people the truth and standing on righteousness, you know, as Moorish science, then it's messed up. Because when you talk about, oh, I'm teaching people their birthright, that's rhetoric. What you mean when you teaching people their birthright? Okay, because what? That they not Negro, black, or color African Americans? Okay, well, but what else you talk about? Now you begging. And now you out here begging and panhandling. Now you starting to sound like, no disrespect, one of my Hebrew Israelite brothers that be on the corner, but with a different rhetoric. I know some empresses in the state of Florida squatting in houses, and I tried to warn them empresses. I said, Empress, whoever telling you this, whoever videos you getting this from, tell me who you getting it from. They didn't want to be honest. I said, okay, y'all going to jail then. What you mean? Oh, they said this, we got some paperwork. I said, squatters have no rights in the state of Florida. I said, all of you are going to jail. And if you don't get your head blew off by the owner of that property, you lucky. What happened? Jail. I be telling people, I said, dude, it ain't no made up, more science, it ain't no get out of jail free card. It's not. This is our unity card from the Moorish Science Temple of America. When I be telling people, the Moorish Science Temple of America has we got a nationality card from the Moorish Science Temple of America, identification card from the Moorish Science Temple of America, and our tax exempt ID number. We got a tax exempt ID. What you mean? Yeah. Exactly. So when Moors be lying and just you want to act like all this stuff is for the temple only, it don't replace nothing. It don't replace nothing. It don't replace nothing. Let me see, do I have our temple and school ID on me? Let me see, because our temple and school, we have our own temple and school ID. And we charter. Ah, here we go. So we have our own temple and school, just like any other university will have their school and ID, their ID with our tax exempt number. We proclaim, declare, and have due process. You tell me who you are. It don't replace nothing. None of my brothers and sisters not pulling out their temple and school ID. For what? We have the right to self-identify. It don't replace nothing. And so the reason why I created the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, because that's just exactly what it is. It's a school of brothers and sisters that understand who they are, doing what we have the right to do in the right way. We are a group of Moors where we have our temple and school, our own fraternal order, under our religious rights, which trump anything else. If we don't understand that, then that's what I'm showing my brothers and sisters. We're not disrespecting nothing. We're not saying this has replaced that. That's not what's happening. But I'm showing you, if any more say they part of the Moorish Science Temple, they should be telling you some basic things. This is right here. This is from the temple. It's our Moorish Science Temple of America, International Consulate of American Moors. This is our ecclesiastical body politic and local government. Government, church, etc. I explained that already in the state booklet about government and all those. I explained it, and that's why brothers be confused. I said we can't be confused if we basing our wisdom on how the prophet set the temple up. That's why I created a school of learning. Ain't nothing wrong with the temple. Go to a temple and tell me what's being taught. Maybe rhetoric. A lot of times it's rhetoric, especially if it's old. And I have no problem with old tales. But man, we in the flesh now, and we live in a community. We got to do something. We got to do some action. We got to put some real finances and understanding and wisdom behind everything we're doing. Everything else is just stories. I'm past the stories. I'm past who's the Supreme Grand Sheik and all. Man, I'm past all that. So if anybody's saying it's Moorish Science Temple of America, You should have these things. The Moorish allodial title deed, commercial affidavit, or convenience adoption and enrollment. I solely affirm that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America, not no Moorish Science Temple Inc. Inc. is an offshoot as holder in due course and claimants of equity and fee simple absolute of North, South, West of Mexico has redeemed me as creditor. Chapter 47, on the day, in December 2016, Khoury Hakeem Goodman Bey proved that I am a beneficiary and heir to the present Moroccan Moorish Empire. Don't get your head twisted up with that. I have to show you what that means. In other words, it makes me the landlord and creditor of fee simple absolute. I hope we know what that means. A lot of us don't. We be getting it twisted on something else. No disrespect. Europeans have been the custodians over our government and land. So when I say that, I'm not saying what you see people demonstrating here, this is your land and got some fake badge. That's not what she's saying. You have to sit down and hear what I'm saying. I'm just giving you a precedent and showing you things, how you should be in line, and how a Moor that say that he or she is from the Moorish Science Temple of America should operate. And when they hear me speak, they should be, it ain't nothing you can say. It's just like if you in any other order or fraternal order, and the Grand Poobah and the Archon, whatever you want to call it, and the Big Brother, whatever, this and that and the other. I'm not here to hurt, to harm. I'm telling people that if it's Moorish science, your brother right here is from the temple and have a school and educated, heart is pure and anointed and consecrated and educated. Why we ain't rolling with that? This is what I'm telling brothers and sisters. We got to have solidarity. This right here is the Moorish Science Temple of America. Is our certificate of enrollment. National Bureau of Vital Statistics, in accordance with the true policies of Noble Drew Ali and President Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Johnson. This document exists as a certification that the individual indicate below has taken and subscribed an oath of amnesty and reconstruction, which is an affirmation of an Emancipation Proclamation with allegiance to the Republic Constitution of the United States of America, including the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, and the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. This individual has also proclaimed a free national name, race, nationality, and religion as follows. Title, Khoury Goodman Bey. Race, Asiatic. My date, my proclamation. I choose Asiatic. I know erasure and all that, erasure. I get all that. December 13, 2016. Location of proclamation, Chicago, Illinois. Nationality, Moorish American. Birthplace, Florida. Religion, Islamism. That's my hey, and I don't have to argue with nobody or say, well, we study this Islam. That's fine, but the Islam I adhere to is Sufism, Tasawwuf. Just like when you say Adam Blavatsky was learned by Islamic Sufis. Theosophy is a form of Sufism, Islam. These is facts. I have all the documents. The free national name Bey must be annexed. Your last name ain't no slave name. I tell all Moors this, I'll get rid of my name. I had a Moor dealing with me. I said, who told you your last name was a slave name? I said, your last name is your family crest, your coat of arms. Your last name is to your inheritance. I tell you, you are next. Noble Drew Ali didn't get rid of his last name. His name was Timothy Drew. Noble Ali. Come on, man. Your Bey must be annexed as a suffix. Research what a suffix consists of to your name. They say the slave name, but I always correct teachings because I'm in the flesh. I'm not a child of a slave. So I hear that. I adhere to the tenets, but as I'm teaching in the flesh, I'm always going to give that because I don't have no slave blood in me. I'm not saying it wasn't a group of people that were slaves and all this and other, yes, but not my family, not me. I don't adhere to that. I'm sorry. No one can be mad at me. I have no history of my family being no slaves. Coming over here on no boat, not nowhere in my family. What I do see is not only my family and my Empress family, my Empress great grandma, when I find this picture, she was a noble woman, wore the turban with like the curly Q, like Superman. Peace, Noble Brian. So when people be saying more science, I be like, come on, man, let's just keep it plain. This is nothing so spectacular. People be acting like they can make you an ID card and all this, and man, that's fugazi. We have temple and school ID. One of my muftis just jumped on here. We're pure and a clean glass. That's why I said I'm from the temple and from university. Been through all houses, just like if it was martial arts, and they say, man, well, you're dealing with not only the 5 deadly victims, he know all the styles. All these people know one, but this one know all the styles. Why? Because he been in the chamber with Abba. Know what I'm saying? The wisdom not only given to me from the Holy Spirit, but it was passed down by those that's greater than I. And now I'm in the flesh. And then if it's Moorish science, if brothers say they part of the Moorish Science Temple of America and this, and that, and the other, it got to be some things you agreeing with me. It can't just be no, no, no. Then you basing your stuff on your understanding. The prophet set up a temple. But the free national name must be annexed to the name of the individual in all public records throughout the state, nations, upon the completion implementation of Section 16 and 17 of the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, the U.S. Constitution. The individual will receive a full, permanent ancestral name. Assistance through the Freedmen's Bureau Act of 1865 and protection guaranteed under federal mandate through the United States government. And then when they be like, well, how you got Noble Drew Ali name right there? Now, it's just like this. When you are the beneficiary, or when you are, how do you call it in law? Well, I said the beneficiary. But when you can sign for people and things, induce stress, and even when they're gone. Yeah, the beneficiary. Legal documents, it's set up like that. It's going to be here forever. I hope we caught that. And if you got the state booklet, and if you're from the temple, they'll be like, yeah, Sheik is talking science. He's talking how the temple's set up. That's why I teach the right way. And then anything that I teach is never going to get no one in no harm's way. If people say it's Moorish Science Temple of America, certification of adoption. Think of my certification of adoption. I claim of adoption by proclamation of free national name and nationality, printed, diluted, full name, my name, Khary Goodman, my date of birth, blah, 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 month, blah, blah, with color, the race, black, has been adopted by claimant and proclaimed the race, Asiatic. I choose it. My nationality, Moorish American, and one free national name, Bey. One free national name, Bey. I don't need two free national names. When I say El Bey, that's just vernacular of having both wisdoms. But on our paperwork, I adhere to what? System. The trust corpus with this proclamation by the claim of person, born in the city of Hillsburg, in the county of Hillsburg, in the county of the United States, in these United States of America, by these parents and parties. My mother, Willie Inez Goodman, my father, Larry Ted Goodman, by unity, for this person adopted with this knowledge and claims as a member, adopted in this ecclesiastical body politic and corporate by these trustful language claims. 4. For the person adopted by claimant is with the claim, transfer of rights and interest of the birth certificate, number grantee, and then the number of that. But I ain't sharing that number. Moorish Science Temple of America, International Consulate of American Moors. I want to go back and I want to reverse a little bit because I always have to tell truths and I always clear things up. So I have my metaphysical temple out here in Arizona. Had a lot of people. I teach, because I love people. But I welcome some Moors in my building. And man, when I tell you, when I welcome the Moors in my building, and some of these men were older than me. And my dad used to come and my parents come to Arizona in the winter at snowbirds. And I deal with different people because I've been in all different walks. I've been in ministry, all type of stuff. And my dad's eye from being an elder was like, these brothers, it just come in with rhetoric. Never had the Moorish Quran, always talking about some criminal behavior. And so, peace be among his soul, it was, one of the sheiks in Chicago was Marcel Walden L. No disrespect. Peace be among his spirit. He did some good things for people but did he do some other? Hey, but what I'm saying, nothing that I'm teaching you or give you will get you in trouble or have you having to defend yourself in a court of law of being fraudulent on some defrauding the government on some back taxes. When Moors tell people they don't pay no taxes, then in the same breath, you teach people how to defraud the government, and then get in trouble for trying to defraud the government of millions and millions of dollars. So what I'm saying, what the prophet demonstrated and brought to us is valid. But when we start putting our faith in certain men that won't just tell it plain, then I say, then we're dealing with people that have motives. Then we're dealing with people that have motives. I don't want to talk about the rest of the little paperwork. That's simple. I want to get to the next part. I want to get to the next part. Because I might not even have time. Well, yeah, I do. I don't have to leave till 12:30. That's why I be saying, man, we be getting so much false information in our community, especially from brothers that's not even initiated or know language. We just come with rhetoric. Just come with it, because we don't love ourselves. So right here, this, I think I got two documents in one. Yeah, I do. I got two documents on one. This is the front and back. Okay, but I'll read this front part. This is my redeemed surety bond. When I say redeemed surety bond, me. Not as no money at the end of the rainbow. You know? You feel me? But, in Chicago, the address, in Pulaski Road, Chicago, my name, free national name, Noble Khari Goodman Bey. My race, I choose Asiatic. Nationality, Moorish American. Religion, Islamism. The date of my conveyance, when I understood this. The CCRD, County Clerk Recorder of Deeds, document 1010-5905. You got to know what that means. And I tell y'all, I be correcting Moors on things. I say, listen, that it's not no document that say Moors. It ain't nothing but a religious affidavit. It's a religious affidavit. What's my status? Free white person. So if any Moor be like, oh, no, and they say they're from the Moorish Science Temple, and I say, what's your status? And they say some black stuff. Oh, here they propaganda. Because you cannot say, Sheik or no, nothing from the Moorish Science Temple, and I ask you your status, and you say something else but free white person. And then you don't understand what I'm talking about. One that possesses this baptism certificate has been redeemed by illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali and delivered by a fee simple absolute deed that restored all rights and property. Said person has been revoked. And I don't even like the word person in caps. But like I say, I'm in the flesh, things can be corrected. I would say as human. Has been revoked from the St. Peter's Trust and the Magna Carta Charter Christian enrollment that held my person in bondage. And then that vernacular Muslim, that can be tricky, but I'll just deal with the vernacular because I can agree to things with my people. I'm a Muslim of the West, a descendant of Moroccans born in America. Moroccan, aka vernacular for Africa. You have the right of a nationality. I tell everybody why you choose to be a slave from Africa. What part of Africa? You a slave from Africa. Okay, well, what part? What part? I know. We, the Supreme Grand Body, bestow privileges and benefits and grants dispensation of said person by birthright and original inhabitants of north and southwestern shores of Amexima. The 1010-5905 number is on the bottom of it. And it ain't no trust fund at the end of the rainbow. If you think that, that's your fault. Once again. Now, here's my adapt chamber, my 720 degree from the adapt chamber. When I be telling people, it's only, I really don't be knowing what Moors be talking about. Because going through the adapt chamber, there's not no phone call with somebody or with some older person, especially if you haven't went through the degrees of wisdom. Even Yahshua, Jesus, went through the adapt chamber, going through the different degrees of wisdom. Understanding, the initiation. Even in hieroglyphics, in the Egyptian manuscripts, where you see the water pouring down, the so-called baptism, that's a form of what? Initiating the wisdom. That's a form of initiation, what? Bringing you to enlightenment. That's a process. And if we're not willing to go through the process, and in the science we are Tasawwuf, the Islam we under its mapping guidance, then we tripping. Because we're not under no submission, we under peace. I tell everyone, the Islam that I represent is Tasawwuf. It's Sufism. Anything outside myself is true shirk. I'll show y'all the hadith that deal with Sufism. I mean, it's just a higher level of wisdom. But the Supreme Grand Body and the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America in Mecca, Chicago, has been vested with sovereign powers by the great God Allah and illustrious Prophet Noble Ali to confer degrees of a Muslim of the West to a person or persons that has been raised 180 degrees from a shadow grave, son of a widow. I'll correct that too, but we'll roll with that. I'm explaining that too. I, Noble K. Goodman Bey, my obligation as a Muslim missionary, because if you a missionary, then you have work. Missionaries do have a mission by free will. The obligation of the nobility of the elect of the Moorish Science Temple of America, teaching the Asiatics of North, South, and Central America to do what? Love instead of hate. As I travel the burning sand from the east to the west in 39 celestial steps with my staff of comfort, my companion, the beast of burden, and my Hebrew master logo of perfection, I do here upon my holy Quran, Circle 7, demonstrate my degrees to raise fallen humanity from its imperfections with the degrees of social duties, justice, charity, gratitude, and sincerity. In my travels, Allah guides my feet in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I shall not give ear to falsehood, hypocrisy, and deceit. You see? As I travel the burning sands, I possess my charter of warrant and my dispensation, my authority to pass through all ports unmolested. So if you might travel with me and you may see European Masons be like, oh, are you a traveler, Sheik? And I say, I'm not a traveler from there. I'm all over. But you will see even Prince Hall Masons come with that, you know? But they all have to identify. No disrespect. It's shedding the light out. When I say shedding the light out, it's not in a disrespectful manner. All ports unmolested with divine rights and privileges. All sons of a Muslim must hold true to its obligation to nobles. Why? Because I told you, the misnomer European is not the joke of masonry. The black man is. Why? Because the black man think that he's a widow son. I explain it, but then the European will tell you that he or she is a son of a Muslim. And a Muslim must hold true to its obligation to nobles. Muslims and the Mohammedans by words and deeds. I'll give another one of our documents from the temple. I'm just setting the precedent. By the power of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious Prophet Noble Ali to register all nobles of the house of Bey to their title of nobility pursuant to Leviticus 25 and 10. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious Prophet Noble Ali. Moorish Americans are the royal house of Judah, descendant of King David. So when you hear any more talking that stupid stuff, the Bible is the white man stuff, clearly you on some gangster thug street stuff. I keep telling people they can be mad all they want to. Is the Quran come from old Jewish manuscripts? Or do when Muslims, they want to get mad and all this and say, well, it's no scholarly proof. Okay, well, prove your disposition or prove with facts. Is the Quran have influence and come from Jewish stories and things from the Talmudic and other things? Or is the Quran come from Islamic scholars and XYZ? Is it? That can be discussed. Like I said, I don't have a dog in none of the fight. But when people come with rhetoric, I'll be like, oh, okay, whatever. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites. The inhabitants of Africa is the descendants of the Canaanites, Chaldeans. So when God told them to go to somebody's land and then take it over, and all the young men of fighting age kill them, so you telling me God had to go kill the Canaanites, the Chaldeans? Somebody's sons, somebody's lineage, the Canaanite from the land of Canaan. Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father, Ham, which they say the curse of Ham, which you hear black preachers be telling you some curse of Ham. And then misnomer black people be acting like they don't know what I be talking about. I said, man, y'all know what I'm talking about. There ain't no curse. Ain't nowhere in the biblical scripture the Creator creates your skin black as a curse. But in the biblical scriptures, it said, "Put my hand in the bosom," and it came out white as leprosy or whatever, right? But then he put it back in, and it came out back to the color it was. So clearly, just off the dribble, the color couldn't have been white. No disrespect to no one. It's just off logic. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Africa or Maxima, whatever you want to call it. And they try to say the first and divine name of Africa, but it's not the first and divine name of Africa. That's just a name in that vernacular. We're going to fact check it because Africa was never named after a European. We build it. We having a good build. That's just a divine line. But the Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast, southwest Africa across Great Atlantic, even into the present North, South, and Central America, also Mexico, Atlantis Islands, before the so-called earthquake, which called the Atlantic Ocean. We know this. Here go our amnesty oath. United States of America, Free National Republic, 1774. U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, 1863. Amnesty oath. This is just stuff through the Moorish Science Temple of America. I, Khari Goodman Bey, do solely affirm, in presence of the Almighty God, that I will henceforth faithfully support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Union of the States thereunder, and that I will, in like manner, abide by and faithfully support all acts of Congress passed during the existing rebellion with reference to slaves so long, so forth, as not repealed, modified, or held void by Congress or by decision of the Supreme Court, and that I will, in like manner, abide by and faithfully support all proclamations of the President made during the existing rebellion having reference to slaves, so long, so forth, as not modified or declared void by the decision of the Supreme Court. So help me God. You right? You see? Right? Right? Okay. Coat of arms. Right? Coat of arms, right? House of Bey, title of nobility, 720. Moorish American Muslim. Right? Oh, hold on. What did he say? Oh, I got you, bro. Yep, I got you. Oh, sorry about that. But House of Bey, title of nobility, 720. Moorish American Muslim. Moorish American Muslim. 720 degree on here. May Allah bless and protections always be upon the House of Bey, title of nobility, certificate, Noble K. Goodman Bey, registry of the Noble House of Bey, a descendant of the Royal House of Judah. The 720 dispensation. 720 dispensation. We, the Supreme Grand Body and Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, deriving its power and authority from the great God Allah and his prophet Noble Drew Ali, whom Allah has sent to redeem his people from the falling sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America. The said Supreme Grand Body and Council is authorized and empowered to initiate and confer degrees of said temple upon any person or persons duly proposed, qualified, and approved in accordance with the established forms, usages of the laws and edicts of this illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America. Its jurisdiction to administer to all true members all the privileges and benefits to all Muslims of the West, Noble K. Goodman Bey. 720 degree is hereby granted dispensation of said debt as here to the vast estate and express trust of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and dominion of Kush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest with his father's dominion of Africa. So when people out here talk about this your land, all that, and doing some fake paperwork, clearly you lost. And you operate as a sovereign citizen. Old man Cush and his family are his first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan, pursuant to U.S. Department of Justice, BMSHR 1W 144-35-0 innocent agreement. Okay. I don't know if I read this part, the other one. Okay, this is the noble decree. This is the other one, the noble decree. And you see, the eye is not enclosed in no pyramid. You know that. It sees freely, just like the tassel on your fez. You should know that. But we, the Supreme Grand Body and Grand Council of the Moors, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, grant sovereign powers by the great God Allah and his illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali. Greetings to whom it may concern. By the powers of this charter of warrant and dispensation, this supreme grand body bestow a title of nobility to member Kari Goodman Bey, that is descended from the royal house of Judah, and that of the house of David. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali, agents of the Christian Church, the Vatican, or any of its corporations in the so-called Roman Curia, can't so-called molest, trespass, or violate, or divide, your divine rights granted by the great God Allah. And when I say that, that means you are abiding by in the parameters of the law. You should know this. That's why you obey. You should understand this. You should know how to operate. This is what I'm telling people. And therefore, is no reason for the other things. Why? Because you're standing on a certain level to where none of this stuff affects you. But by the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali to register all nobles of the house of El to their title of nobility, pursuant to Leviticus 25:10. We're talking about the Els and the Beys. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali, pursuant to our authority, all Moorish Americans are exempt. Now, when I say exempt from prosecution, except for murder or rape, per se, what am I saying? When I'm saying exempt, means you shouldn't be doing it. You should be exempt of it. Not saying it's some special law and you can break all these laws and say it's some Moorish law to get you out of jail. Nope. You straight up tripping. And if anybody tell you that, they lying and ain't no truth in them. Now, we can talk about having evidence and all that, but when it comes down to this, if you break and do a crime, a murder, whatever, and then you think you can come with some Moorish rhetoric and say that's going to get you out of that crime, you are fooling yourself. That's what I'm telling you. And if you say, well, I heard somebody talking about, here we go with the herd, council of courts. I'll give you the council of courts. If a Moor kill a U.S. citizen, or vice versa, if a U.S. citizen kill a Moor, that Moor want to be judged in the same parameters as that U.S. citizen. Now what? What else do we want? When a person say the council of courts, if they come with anything else, they lying. I mean, all I'll be asking people, when you want to learn and the teacher present himself or herself, what's the problem with us? Watch this. I'm finna clear another thing up. I'm finna clear something else up too, real fast. We on a good one today. Can I find it? You got your pens and your papers to fact check me. Okay, let me see. Where it go? Oh, here it go. I just have to find my notes, man. I be having so much stuff in my notes. Now, I broke this down when you be dealing with those pro-black people, or they be trying to always prove something wrong with our people, because we've been programmed. We've been programmed to argue with each other. We've been programmed to look at each other with anger and spite, but we won't do that to no European that miseducated you. I said miseducated you. I said miseducated you. A Kebalan is just a vernacular of a people with a language. That's all. Africa had plenty names, just like Judah had plenty names. Abir, Ortega, just to name a few. Just to name a few. And I do this with love. I do this with love. So, the title Africa did not come from Scipio Africanus. Y'all have heard of Scipio Africanus, right? And you may heard these people with this Eurocentric, or I like to call it this Negrocentric propaganda from a false pretense. That's programming. Oh, Africa, that's crap. Why ain't no Africa in Europe? The title Africa did not come from Scipio Africanus. The title Africa did not come from Scipio Africanus. If anybody want to come with that fake history, just like professors say, well, you gonna have to read Roots as what they call required reading in high school. You got to watch Roots, some fake stuff that come from, no disrespect, a European perspective that wrote a book called The African. Stop the cap. Publius Cornelius Scipio earned the title Africanus. How? How did he earn the name Africanus? See, this is elementary wisdom. This is a schoolmaster. When I say we have no culture, we have no history of nothing, we just talk rhetoric. We need our own schools. I have a full library. We need this. Moors need this. To one, if you say it's more science, to stand correct. With love from your brother. Do anybody know why? Why he earned the title Africanus? Some people may be looking it up right now. That's a smart thing to do. But when people just be spewing things out, oh, I heard, I said, see, there we going. We don't do that with wisdom. We do with what we can prove and with what we understand and what we can speak of clearly. Do anybody know? You say, well, no, you don't. I said, do anybody know why Publius Cornelius Scipio earned the title Africanus? You said because he traveled the world? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. With love, but absolutely not. Anybody want to? That's why I say a lot of stuff I talk about would be simple. When I say schoolmaster, that's why if a person was taking my class and I'm saying, okay, if we don't know, I would say, oh, well, I'm not sure. I wouldn't guess. It's almost like Jeopardy. You know what I mean? When a lot of times when it's time for the end, they make you bid before you know what the question is. You know? Of course that shit was wrong. I'm talking from scholarship. That's why I talk about, I'm not talking about propaganda. This is what I tell people. Scholarship. People written me. That's why I said a lot of people are like, man, can I talk to you behind closed doors? No, you can't. If you're not going to talk to me in public, then you off. I don't have time to do that. I'm not even going to waste my energy. I don't waste no energy on debating my brothers and embarrass nobody. Why? Because you know you lying off the gate. They think you so stupid. This is what I be telling people when these people come with this rhetoric, just like some Willie Lynch. I said, these people think you so stupid, they'll sit in the room and come with some stuff laughing, smoking their cigars like, Negroes so stupid, we gonna come with this dumb stuff. Put a video out and make a grip. Why? Because Negroes are emotional. They're not gonna research nothing. They're not gonna deal with scholars like myself and others that can stand up against all them and all their groups, no matter how many of them is, like a lion. You know? Yeah. He earned the title Africanus after General Hannibal Barca, the Battle of Zama in the Second Punic War. You see what I'm saying? Every nation, landmass, and continent has names you think Africa was called in the distant past, are only local names used by a few tribes, nations, and only refer to small sections of the continent. There are multiple ancient African sources of the word Africa, including the Berber word Ifri, I-F-R-I, and the Berber word Afer, Afer, which is the name Banu Ifran or Banu Ifran from Algeria and Tripolian. Africa can also be derived from the Egyptian Afruka. Afruka, Afruka, Africa, to turn toward the opening of the Ka. So when we have these things and documents and research, I say the work has been done. When we can speak freely, when we don't have to guess, the work has been done. The Ka, what Ka? I'm explaining it. The Ka is the energetic double of every person and opening of the Ka. Now we're talking about your culture. Your culture refers to a womb of birthplace. Now I'm talking about your fez. And when I talk about the esoteric meaning of your fez, the birthplace, that mundane ball, Africa would be for the ancient Egyptians. The birthplace, these and many other ancient sources, including hieroglyphics, make reference to the title or the designation of Africa's family. The first word, Afu, A-F-U, carries the meaning of house. The second word, Ra, is one of the names of the divine creator in Africa in general and Egypt in particular. The third word, Ka, carries the meaning of the soul or the spirit, as Noble Carlin just said. Which you put it all together, you get the word what? Af-Ra-Ka. Af-Ra-Ka. The A-F-U, the R-A, the K-A. You tell me what you get out of that. See, we in school. You don't like school because you've been taught wrong. You should like this school. You come to school for small donations and come privately to lessons that I really give. I'm just giving a schoolmaster of elementary wisdom at this point. You ain't seen nothing or heard nothing until you come to private classes. I guarantee you that. The meaning of Africa is the house for the soul of the spirit of the divine creator. This word is in the form refers to the land of the divine creator. The Africans look at their lands as belonging to and created by the divine creator. I don't care how nobody else look at it. The Afrikani, a word derived from Afrika, also carries the meaning of house for the soul or the spirit of the divine creator, but in reference to the human beings, male in particular. Male in particular. Therefore, the plural form is Afrikanu, K-A-N-U, which refers to all males as houses for the spirit or the soul of the divine creator. Man is made in the image of Elohim. Anything outside of ourselves is true shirk. Af-Rak-Kanut is the female house for the soul or the spirit of the divine creator. The plural form is Af-Rit-Kanut, which refers to all females as houses for the soul or spirit of the divine creator. You see, women too. This is the philosophy of the Africans, the Africans. That ain't our culture where they say, oh, the woman is all that other. Man, I ain't with that. The Africans believe that all human beings were the carriers and houses for the soul and the spirit of the divine creator. You can read it in what? You don't have to believe it if you want. Remember the destruction of the black civilization, Great Issues of Race, 4500 BC to 2000 AD. The book was written by Chancellor Wilson. Africa was also called Akibalan, mother of mankind, and Garden of Eden in your Bible. This name was used by the numerous tribes and ancient nations, including the Nubians, the Numidians, the Carhadins, aka Carthagins, and people of Kush, aka Ethiopia, or Abyssinia, whatever you want to call it. However, we never had a single name for the entire continent. We had numerous localized names, but there is no name that was used for the entire continent before Africa. Akibalan, the original name of Africa. Is it? Would a lot of people say that? Is it? Watch this. And that's why I say we can't be mad and upset. We here in school. Because men say a lot of things and we say a lot of things. Then I say we'll prove it. 1 Thessalonians 5:21, prove all things. We just can't say things, and then that means we're trying to convince a person over something we have no evidence. In a court of law, I wouldn't defend that because you just telling me. You say, well, is Akibalan the original name of Africa? Because that's what a lot of us say. A lot of people say Akibalan is the original name of Africa. So the original mean that's the only name. That's the name that everybody is used to. And I'm telling you that's just not factual. That's just not scholarly. Is it one of the names? Absolutely. It's just one of many ancient local names of Africa, among the many ancient names used to describe different areas of our land. Is Akibu land, which means mother of man. Akibulan has also been interpreted as meaning what? Garden of Eden. Akibulan and Africa are two of the oldest indigenous names. The many names of our land were localized and never referred to the entire continent. Therefore, Akibulan was used by the Egyptians, Nubians, Numidians, Carthaginians, and the Ethiopians, aka Kush. Africa, the current misnomer adopted by almost everyone today, was adopted and used more widely and across many cultures to describe the continent, likely because of the way it is easily translated in many indigenous languages. The ancient Greeks and Romans, and as a result of the wide usage of the name Africa, came over time to use Africa to describe the whole continent in its entirety. Watch this, family. A few more examples of indigenous sources for the word Africa. The Afarik, also known as the Agoria, Aourigha. It's a Berber people who live south of Carthage, aka North Africa. The term Afrik, Afarik, or Africa, how we spell it here in English or in America, were used to denote the land of Afarak. The Phoenician root Faraqa, Faraka, which suggests a separation, or in other words, a diaspora per se. The same root is found in some African language like Bambara. In the Sanskrit and in Hindu, the root Apara, the Apara of Africa, denotes that which, in geographical terms, comes after, or in other words, the west of India, from the geographical position of India, the Asian country in which the East Africans established colonies, namely the Dravidian culture. Africa is the western continent. Another school of thought states that the word Africa comes from two Phoenician terms, one of which means an ear of corn, which was a symbol of fertility in that region, and the other, Pharikia, Pharikia, which means land of the fruit. See, other local names used to describe our land of Africa: Auriga, Ethiopia; Korite or Kite or Korite, Corphye, Ortega, Libya; Africa, Afarik; Kemet, Kush, Nubia, Olympia; Gadaguana, Hesperia, Tamari or Tamaria, and Oceania. Bottom line, Africa has many indigenous source names, family, from scholarship and wisdom. But then let's deal with this wisdom from all love and respect. Why do a lot of misnomer Negro, Black, and colors, African Americans, and a lot of my European Jewish colleagues, whatever you want to call yourself, brothers and sisters, why do they say Africa got its name from Publius Cornelius Scipio, who was given the abdomen? An abdomen ain't nothing but a nickname, Africanus, after he defeated the great general Hannibal Barca, and then called himself Asiatic. See, that was something that people did in those times. You know this. We know this from scholarship. Yet the same misnomer Negroes never say Asia got its name from the brother of Scipio, do they? Do they all? Who was rewarded for his victories in Asia. You know this, right? With the abdomen Scipio Asiaticus. Lucius Cornelius Scipio, who was better known as Scipio Asiatics, was given the abdomen nickname Asiatics, by the Romans, just like his brother was given a abnomen nickname Africanus when he defeated Hannibal Barca. See? Y'all know this. The word Africa is indigenous, name used by dozen North and East African tribes for thousands of years before the Roman Republic was ever born. Rome got the name Africa from you know who, you and I, from Africans. So no, Africa is not named after no Romans. It just wasn't. And even if you do not know the many indigenous words and meanings which translate to Africa, it should be obvious to you that Africa, no disrespect to no one, is not a European word. There are not European cities of towns called Africa. If Africa was a European word, there would be other places named Africa. Because these new misnomer so-called NBCs will falsely tell you that Africa got its name from the Romans. See, that's Negrocentric propaganda. This is a lie. And I've illuminated this many times. And people spreading this lie, they don't know history. And some of them do know the truth, but choose to spread lies. Africa is not a European word. It's not named after the Romans, who was Cornelius Publius Cornelius Scipio. There are multiple ancient African sources of the word Africa, including the Berber word Ifri. I told y'all that. And the Berber word Afar, which is the name of Banu Ifran from Algeria and Tripolitan. Africa can also be derived from the Egyptian Afri or Afruka, to toward opening of the Ka. The Ka is the energetic double of every person, and opening of the Ka refers to a womb or a birthplace. Africa would be, for the ancient Egyptians, the birthplace. These and many other ancient sources, including the hieroglyphics, make reference to the title and the designation of Africa, family. Therefore, the Roman general who defeated Hannibal was named Publius Cornelius Scipio. He was best known for defeating Hannibal at the final battle of the Second Punic War, 218 and 202 BC, at Zama, a feat that earned him the agnomen. You know, an agnomen is a title or a nickname, Africanus. Scipio was also called by the nickname the Roman Hannibal. He was called Africanus because he did what? Defeated the greatest African general of all time. Rome did not create the name Africa, and anyone who claims that they did is mistakenly or purposely a liar and a phony and a fraud, especially if they say they're a historian. And so here it is, a group of people put out a video with this propaganda. And I ain't nobody. I ain't nothing but a brother. I'm a sheik to some people. I'm an educator in real life. I'm telling you that's all propaganda. And they made millions off of video. And Negroes bought that crap. Africa is not named after any Romans. The Romans named themselves after us. And then when the people that make that, if you apologize, you ain't getting no money back. You ain't getting people money back for the lies. You got people walking with their chest out like a peacock with some falseness. It's just like the Willie Lynch. Well, it still describes us. No, it ain't. How you gonna take a lie and defend it in the court? It's a lie. You can't base nothing off something that's a lie. That is crazy. But that's what we do. That's what we do. Well, the Willie Lynch, we do explain us. That's a daddy. How explain us? It ain't even real. Given an agnomen, Africanus. Remember, Roman naming practices vary greatly over the centuries between the founding of Rome and the early Middle Ages. Y'all know that. The practice of the elite during the period between the mid-Republic and the early Empire has come to see the classical Rome naming convention when they whitewashed the history books, when they renamed themselves. This is likely to be because this period provides good evidence of naming practices of the best documented class in the best documented Roman period. And by the end of the Republican era, a name for an aristocrat, male citizen, comprised three parts: trinomnia, praenomnia, which is your given name, and your nomen, or your nomen gentile, or simply genticulium, being the name of the gens or the clan, and cognomen, the name of a family line within the genes. Sometimes a second or a third cognomen called the agnomen was added. See, we teach it. The nomen and later cognomen were virtually always hereditary. During the imperial period, the number and options for elements within a name considerably increased, and the naming convention for the later period grew out of a desire to indicate status, connections, and ancestry in a way that was much more wide-ranging than could be shown by the trinomnia. You see? You see? After the cognomen became hereditary and lost its function as a nickname, a second nickname or agnomen was appended to the name after birth, usually not immediately, to signify some personal characteristic or accomplishment. Therefore, a common agnomen was pious. You know, pious this, pious that. You will see in old poetry and writings, you will see pious this. If you're a philosopher, if you read, if you're a studier, you know what I'm saying. You are familiar with the vernacular that I'm saying. For someone who has displayed virtues like honesty, reverence to the gods, or devotion to family and state. Superbus, proud, and pulcher, handsome, were also examples of an agnomena. Unlike the nomen and the cognomen, an agnomen was usually not inherited unless the son also had the same attributes or did the same deeds, although some victory, an agnomena, like Augustus, Majestic, and Germachius, the German conqueror, and of course Scipio Africanus, the conqueror of Africa, eventually became handed down as additional what? Cognomena. I'm breaking wisdom down. An agnomen, plural agnomena, in the Roman naming convention was a nickname, just as the cognomen was initially. But the cognomena eventually became family names. So the agnomena were needed to distinguish between similarly named persons. However, as the agnomen was an additional and optional component in Roman name, not all Romans had an agnomen. See, when we talk about Pseudo-Probus uses the hero of the Punic wars, Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus, as an example. And then watch this. The thing when I say I'll never get no disrespect a European to try to prove my point, you know, because I'm just like Dr. B and John Henry Clark. I debate that. I don't need no one to prove what I'm saying because they'll come with some Flavius Josephus. And I say Flavius Josephus ain't nothing but a pen name. I illuminate Flavius Josephus and make a person shut up with that pseudo-graphic mess, with that pseudographia, with that stuff. We always believe in somebody else because they may look different, and I'm telling you that ain't nothing but it's all pseudo. The Pisos family, a pen name. I'm telling you, these is facts. So when they come with the crap, you can't gonna come with that European Greek perspective. Never. We not even gonna play that game. We ain't finna play, or they gonna come with the Septuagint, or they gonna come with something else, and I'm gonna show you that all this stuff is Egyptian manuscripts. We gonna cut all the way through the chase and chop it all the way down. When you come with the game. Propria hominium, nomnium. Well, you probably don't know what I'm saying, but men's personal names are of 4 types: praenomen, nomen, cognomen, and agnomen. Praenomen, for instance, Publius nomen Cornelius, cognomen Scipio, and agnomen Africanus. We can break this down at all different vernaculars. So again, to be clear, Scipio is not the source of the word Africa. Africanus is his victory name because he won the war against General Hannibal Barca. I want us to know that. I want us to know that. Oh, yeah. I'm on good time. Yeah. I tell brothers and sisters, man, it's only one science. I got a little time for a little bit of science and we out of here. So when we talk about the Islam And when we talk about symbology and be able to break symbology down, like even the clock of destiny down, without even having the manuscripts, and I say stuff, paper and written things is not magic. You the magic. When it's explained, oops, when it's explained the right way, you will understand the so-called mystery. You will understand the so-called mystery. So in Islam, oops, let me stop that. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I had something else going on. My bad. So in Islam, we have symbology. You have the crescent and the star, the so-called pyramid, the so-called compass and the square, the so-called 6-point pentagram, the circle with the line in it with 333, 333, 333, 333, almost like this. Something like that. So I'll just break a little bit of it down. The crescent and the star, the eye of Islam, that banner of the crescent and star, or the flag with the moon and the 5-pointed star in the center, is the insignia of the Asiatic and the Moorish nation, the mother of all national banners of the world today, because it is the oldest. The flag with the Moorish crescent and the star represents the entire human family. When reading or writing in any language, there are only two principal directions in which you can go: lateral, crosswise, or across, and or vertical, which is up and down. All other movements in any other direction are just varying degrees of the main two. And when reading the meaning of the crescent and the star, no matter from which direction one reads, the moon is always first, and is read in the following manner: from the left to the right, moon and star; from the right to the left, moon and star; from the top down, moon and star; from the bottom up, moon and star. Latin and its many dialects are read from left to right. Arabic, Hebrew, Sanskrit are read from left to right. Japanese, Chinese are read from top to down. Thus the moon, the great female principle, can be shown to be the generator of all the apparent phenomena known to man in any language, if you in the context of this wisdom. The three meanings of the moon and star: moon and the sun. So when you're looking at that the moon and the sun, as moon and sun, the crescent and star represents both the negative and the magnetic force, and the positive, which is the electric force. The so-called woman and the sun. The sun, now I'm dealing with the O, the sun. As woman and sun, the crescent and the star symbolize the great universal woman. I like to say woman. The universal womb or matter in its most elementary state, which generates or produces all forms, visible or invisible. These forms are the sun principle to balance woman. So when they talk about the widow and the son of masonry, when I tell people you have to be able to break down those little crazy riddles, because when you think about them, it don't mean nothing. That's to keep you subjugated. But I illuminate it. I am a widow's son. I'm not, but I hear what the teaching is saying. I'm in the flesh. I can illuminate these teachings. Indeed, say the Masonic brethren. The Masonic brethren do say that. That's what they say. Simply because, that's what they say. When a woman gives birth to a male, he is her son. So all males are sons. And since all males are sons, women can have no husband. She is therefore truly a widow. I get that. I get that mysticness. I get that mysticness, but again, with a widow's son, that means you don't know who the Father God is per se. You know, we know. In Moorish science, we know. As a teacher, we know. Because I'm not a widow's son when you know. And then in the same breath, you say anything outside of yourself is true shirk, then it's certain things that can be contrary. It's going to be some things that's not going to line up. When you have a true understanding, you can question certain things, from love, because that's what we're doing. We in school. The moon or crescent represents the woman, the widow, or the feminine principle. In mythology, the moon was personified by the Greeks as a goddess. Remember, Luna. Luna is the Latin word for what? Moon. The ancients associated fertility, growth, and decay with the lunation phases, right? The moon factor is the mediator between the past and present, accumulating the whole story of man's personal evolution within the fluids of brain and body. That's the most holy place and a holy place. The moon established an essential rhythm in the body and instinctive mind as an ebb and flow of sensation and emotional experience. The moon is connected with the deepest association of one's family and ancestors, especially the mother. Powerful mother-child relationships begin in the womb. Hence, the moon indicates the mother complex. The star of the sun represents the male, the sun principle. In mythology, the sun was personified as the all-pervading creative power in nature, or the masculine principle. These two principles are represented in Genesis as what? Adam and Eve. These twin souls are the absolute expression of masculine and feminine rays, of which absolute atomic self is composed. The masculine ray contains a portion of self forces, and the feminine rays must likewise contain a portion of the positive qualities. This is the principle of gender. These souls therefore contain a portion of each other. They constitute the sun and the moon of the self-creation. This principle of gender is one of the 7 Kemetic principles. Some say Hermetic. Remember, I just taught this the other day. I'm illuminated in the science. I told y'all all week I'm going to connect sciences. So you be like, this man that broke down all the crafts. Yeah, I just told you, knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature, Quran. The principle of gender is one of the 7 Kemetic principles. With the rays become differentiated, they are still as eternal and immortal as self, which called them in existence. They constitute the divine idea of a parent, and as such they become the divine expression of love and wisdom upon what? This earth plane. The ancients seem to think all souls coming into their first human incarnation take it in the sign of Cancer. This sign has been recognized through the ages as what? The doorway into the life of those who must know death. Its opposite, which is Capricorn, esoterically, which is my sign, is known as the doorway into life of those who know not death. Cancer is the soul of the womb or universal mother. On some ancient Egyptian tablets, the moon and the sun principle are astrologically written and esoterically imprinted. The sun is symbolized as a flaming splendor, a center of light, radiating in all directions. You see that when I showed y'all the eye? Like, you see that? Like this is radiating in all directions per se? You see what I'm saying? Right? That's that goodness. It's the symbol of all created life, spiritual and material, of all goodness, human and divine, of all creations, from stereo systems to man. Light is life. The planets are the offsprings of light and life. Mankind is the offspring of light and life. In the symbol, we read the source of the human ego. Another tablet depicts the symbol of Cancer. The moon, here Cancer, is typifying by a woman's face, unconscious, in a trance, surrounded by what? Clouds. This dreamy woman represents reflection, or re-reflection. How about that? Her thoughts shape the coming of man. She is sleeping and knows not her powers. She must awaken and recognize herself. Don't that sound familiar, how Noble Ali is holding the women in her hand? He's talking about humanity on the rock. And it's all our job. And this is the great lesson to woman. Ever remember thy creative power as the mother of the humanity of the future? The sun in thy mansion exerts its highest power. And still another tablet, nobles, of the same set depicts Leo, or the masculine principle of the sun exerted on the physical. I'm giving you Clock of Destiny, and I don't even have to have a Clock of Destiny. I'm just going through my notes. Here we have the symbol of the fire, of the spirit. The one sleeps and dreams, but the man she has brought forth is awake and bids defiance to the fiery forces of nature. He has armed himself with the keen knife of action, and with it has conquered the forces of matter. Thus he has mastered all forces inferior to spirit. This can account for the aggressiveness of male sons and their active fight nature. The woman is passive and retiring. As the last degree of Cancer, water, merged into what? Leo, the strong throne of what? The sun. It is typical of what? Fructification. And during the heated term, this renders what? Virgo, the sign which Leo merges or goes into, right? Fruitful for what? Harvest and what? Due time. Cancer is the clear and pure water sign and the favorite house of the moon, which rules one, the human mind, two, conception, and number three, water. The moon's strong place is Cancer. The sun's strong place is Leo. These astrological principles are followed by human sign Virgo or the celestial virgin, who see fruitified and quickened, right? The water or the minstrel of nature was what? Vitalized by the sun rays. This caused the fruit or the harvest to mature. Thus the moon and the sun principle can be seen in the stars as well as in what? Nature. Brothers and sisters, in the craft that they may call Freemasonry, the brethren of that order are called what? Sons of the widow, aren't they? Who are indeed in need. Them brothers is in need, indeed. And it's stated in your Bible that Haram Abith, in the Greek, it is Sharam Abith in the Greek. Sharam Abith, Chiram, the master builder of Solomons. Soul of Mons. Does that sound familiar? Soul of Mons, Solomon with the S, temple, was the son of a widow per se. Now the word Solomon is composed from three languages: Latin, soul or souls for son, Sanskrit, or aum or om, and the Ethiopic on, on. The woman is a widow because she has no husband per se, and all children enter the earth by way of the woman, right? She is the great creator, one who can build a temple, which is the body, without the sound of a hammer or the use of a nail. Solomon was ordered to do what? Build the temple without the sound of hammers, right? Haram represents the fire of the sun principle with man. Naturally, the spiritualized mind with the fire principle must do the work of forming and shaping the temple, right? Come on now. Somebody said, man, everybody should be, what'd he say? Everybody should be thankful for the donation. But thanks for the kind words. If it happens soon when I'm alive, I believe it will, because my will and Allah's will is synchronizing. And it's going to happen. And thank you for the donation and for asking. Gratitude. You know, it is built without the hammers within the negative sphere of the widow. Haram represents the positive physical intellectual principle. In this context, please. The widow represents the negative spiritual intellectual principle. The early Semites, or the so-called Hebrews, regarded the principal deity of each oasis as a goddess, and the next important deity as her son. The goddess appears to have been the spirit of the spring, which gave the oasis its fertility, and was consequently thought to reside in the spring. The sun appears to have been regarded as the spirit of the vegetation. You see, spring can be correlated to a whole bunch of other things. You know, you are the supreme manifestation of the number 9, which to prove it, 1, normal childbirth takes what? Placed after what? 9 months. Man's average heartbeat is 72 times per minute. Man's average step is 3 feet. 12 times 3 equals 36 inches. The moon goes through 4 phases per month. 4 times 9. 9 months of gestation equals 36 months. We have now proved to you that you are a supreme manifestation. And the following 4 phases of the moon encapsulate that proof: the new moon, the first quarter, the full moon, and the last quarter. When you see the pyramid, put a line of it. You got that eye with the so-called rays off of it. So the S of Islam, I'll show you a pictorial, the pyramid per se. The S of Islam. The essence of Islam. The essence of Islam. The pyramid is the second symbol in Islam. Its apex at the top indicates that man's essence is spirit. If the apex were pointed down, the triangle would represent matter. The three equal sides of the triangle symbolize, in universal terminology, the positive, the negative, and the offspring, or union of the two male-female principles. On the top of the pyramid, it is the all-seeing eye, which stands for the I in you. The glory or light at the top of the pyramid symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, and light. However, the capstone on the Great Pyramid on the back of the dollar bill is not connected to its base because the masses of humanity are ignorant of their essence, which is spirit, their history, and their heritage. Man's status in the world is controlled by those who know. Consequently, his status is determined by the quality of his own thinking. See, let me tell y'all something. When these brothers come in y'all community and then they say, well, my God is money, which is crazy, because we know man make money, but then they say, well, if man make money, God make man. But if money is your God, so now you're comparing a falseness. And then we see what happened when people chase money. With all the wisdom and all the understanding that these people have, look what happens. When you verbally say that money is your God. That's a bold statement. He who knows all that can be known by intellectual energy is a God among men. The men who control the political and economical systems of the world are the ones who have caped their pyramids. Let me tell you what I just said again. Go back. I have the house, the furniture, and the keys. I'm asking my brothers to move in. We can do this. I'm telling you, he who knows all that can be known by intellectual energy is a God among men. The men who control the political and economical systems of the world are the ones who have caped their pyramids. You know, your tassel pinned down, they caped your wisdom. Ignorance, that's what the Black Prince Hall Muslims are. They wisdom, and they don't even wear the tassel, so or the fez. So they ain't even got to that level of wisdom yet. But some will and won't tell you. But ignorance has kept mankind in darkness and in grief. But no man should grieve, for grief is the most serious of all diseases, family. Nature permits man to do anything he or she desires. He is limited only by his own ignorance. You're limited by that own negative thing that you look in the mirror. The mirror, you can't be mad at the mirror. The mirror only gonna reflect what you see. If you say you look sad, the mirror gonna reflect that. That's you. The mirror just does the mirror stuff. Reflect what's inside. His own laws and customs. The pyramid is an example of perfect orientation. It is self. The pyramid is also built upon a square, just as man is born on the square. The square base is a constant reminder that the house of wisdom is firmly founded upon nature and her immutable laws. The angles of the square are silence, profundity, intelligence, and truth. They also represent the extremities or the extremites of heat and cold. We talk about that duality, south and north, light and darkness, east and west. Man is a four-fold unit concerning the elements of his own concentration. Watch, I'll show you all this. And the earth, the fire, and the air, and the water are one of the fundamental keys to the mystery of the Great Pyramid. Now watch this. You're looking at the same thing. I'm going to show you. It's going to look like two different images, but it's the same thing. One image is you looking at it from the top. The other one, you might be looking at it straight off. Can you see that? Can you see what I'm looking at? Can you see that? You see the mathematics? You see what I'm saying? I hope we see this. And if we have eyes to see, I hope we understand what we're looking at. That first figure is the pyramid apex with a viewpoint from the top. Remember, the square looking figure is the viewpoint from the top. So the square is the viewpoint from the top, right? Is the pyramid apex with a view from the top. Figure 2 is the side view. That's the side view. The triangle, you see that? That's the side view. See that? See that? So the field enclosed by the baselines of the four ideographs is an equilateral square base of the pyramid. The apex or the center is the all-seeing eye, or the psychic, or the star of the east. Not the eastern star, the star of the east. Empress, you are the star of the east. I hope you've been hearing me. That white fez with the gold tassel represents you, empresses. I hope y'all hear me. They got your pyramid, they got your pentagram turned sideways. The pyramid can be likened to the universe and the capstone to man. The mind is the capstone of man. The spirit is the capstone of the mind. And God is the epitome of the whole, or the capstone of the spirit. The temple is complete only when the person himself becomes the living apex through which the divine power is focused into the diverging structure below. Mind over matter. Just like when people say, man, thank you for making time to do what you do. And when I say it's just a matter of time, I do my charity because I love doing this. Just like if I was an athlete and trainer, I would be training kids, coaching kids for free. Especially if I was rich as hell, then I just have my own gym, my own training center. I have my own library. I'll be giving a whole build up for the not only young people, but everybody that wants to be resurrected. But the majority of humanity eyes are closed. When the eyes are open, the conscious and the subconscious will be fully aware of what each is doing. At this stage, the human body or the temple can regenerate. The exact science of human regeneration is called the lost key in masonry. Y'all know this, right? Ask your dad or uncle if they Masons and see what they say. They probably ain't gonna say nothing. They probably gonna say who you was talking to. Tell them she Kari Goodman, babe. You wanna talk to him? Because if we have something good, we gotta share with our brother. If it's good, like we say. So I got a little bit more and I'm out of here. I got 20 more minutes. So the compass and the square, the L of Islam, the compass and the square. The ancient Moors, we were navigators. The Moors mean navigator. You know, in the vernacular, it can denote to those things. Of the seven seas, guided by the North Star. And in order to navigate, they use a compass and a square. Use that in elementary. A compass has 32 points. 3 times 2 equals 5. That's life. This instrument was used as a way of life for Moors. The compass was an instrument used to draw circles. And the 2 legs embody the idea of a male force meeting a female force at an angle. This angle is measured in different planes. The right hand of man is the executive or the positive. So the right leg of the compass was taken to signify the positive force. The left hand of man is representative, is receptive. So the left leg of the compass was taken to represent a negative force. In ancient masonry, the union of zodiac motion. Remember, because you know in the Bible, God named the heavens and the stars and all that stuff, right? Okay. And declination was symbolized by the union of the compass and square. The square placed below is typical of purely physical union of the sexes in astrology, in harmonics, in harmoniques or in harmoniques. The aspects of each constitute a portion of the square or angle of 90 degrees, like semi-square, squares, sequi or square and double square or opposition. And the right angle has been used from time to time as the symbol of what? Discord or strife per se. It becomes a fitting emblem, therefore, of man and woman when united from purely selfish and carnal moves and motives. It thus represents the result of the ignorance so prevalent in the present day matrimonial system, right? In conclusion, the square represents the following: man and his 4 essences, spirit, mind, soul, body, and something to build on, because all solid foundations have 4 corners, a square. If you're an architect, you know that. We're building on solid foundation. Also, the angle formed by the positive, the stationary male, the leg of the compass, and the receptive, the movable female leg, is less than a right angle. It should approximate 60 degrees, which is the sextile or 6 of creation. The sextile is used to denote harmony and joy. The letter G, typifies the generation of offspring. In this context, it means a plethora, but in this context, as a result of physical union. But in order that the progeny may be endowed with soundness of body and mind, and thus become a blessing per se to their parents and the human race, the ancient nations taught that there must be a higher union in addition to the physical, as indicated by the compass above that I showed y'all, which is spiritual. The spiritual or the spirituality or the spiritual per se, as well as the physical laws, must be obeyed. It's diagrams to show the various spirit matter relationships with regard to the compass and square and man's final triumph as spirit over matter. You know, when you have the two triangles, one and then one, and then when you have the triangle, one is overlapping the other, the presence of the right angle, remember, triangle? Okay, the presence of the right triangle. Let me draw something. Let me draw a figure. See if y'all can see my ugly drawing. I'm not an artist, but I'm drawing for you to get a little, let's see, pictorial. Let me see. We call Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2. Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2. Okay. So look at my drawing. Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2. You can see Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2. Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2. Those little drawings. Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2, right? You see my ugly drawing. I'm not an artist. Never proclaimed to be one, but I just hope you following your brother. Okay. So, the presence of the right triangle in figure 1. In figure 1. In figure 1. Right? Is important symbolically. For the right angle triangle had been used from remote times to symbolize spirit and matter in their inclusiveness. When an angle is shown with its points upwards, it signifies spirit or celestial reversed. With pointing downwards, it indicates matter or earth. In masonry, however, the compass replaces the upper triangle. In figure 2, the two ends of the spiritual right angle are below those of material, so that they indicate spirit's complete submergence in matter and the temporary triumph of matter over spirit. I'm gonna draw another figure. Like I said, I'm not. It's like one arm over one, and one arm is over the other. Like I'm gonna show two more figures. I'm gonna try to blow them up, so you can get a good picture. I was trying to draw them, but I'm gonna try to blow them up. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Can I get that for you? Hold on. Let me see. Can I? I might have it saved. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Almost where we need to be, because we almost at our time. You see that fig? You see those two? And you see how it's overlapping different on figure 4? You see how it's overlapping different? Then you see figure 5 and 6. Hold on. Figure 5 and 6, you see the different, how that compass is overlapping different levels of wisdom. I'll teach that at a later date, but I just want y'all to see what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna break it down just a little bit. We almost at our time. We almost at our time. So what I was saying is, The L, the ancient words we would navigate. I broke that down. I broke how the compass and the points and all that. All right? You got that. So, the presence of the right angle triangle in those figures is important symbolically. I gave you all that. So I gave you all those two figures. And then in figure 5, you have more light, for one arm is above the square. In other words, one arm of our spiritual right angle is over the corresponding arm of the material right angle, indicating the gradual emergence of spiritual from matter. The last figure, 6, I told you, the symbol symbolizes the triumph of spirit over matter. For here, both arms of the spiritual right angle are over both arms. We talk about the master grip of the material right angle. Not only has further light been given, but in the triumph of spirit over matter, or the flesh, all the light that can be conferred on a master has been awarded to the proficient neophyte. The symbol not only indicates the triumph of spirit, but its resurrection, ascent, and dominion over all material conditions. The union of the compass and the square from a diamond, the hardest and the most precious of stones, with the G in the center. It is the diamond in the rough. When the ground and polished it becomes a diamond without a blemish, and the God within becomes manifest. This condition is symbolically represented by the so-called Hebrew letter Jod-He-Va-He, Jod-He-Va, the Jodhevauhe within the compass and the square. And to accomplish, one must master the physical, which may be done scientifically or spiritually. Therefore, before the polished jewel, aka Jew per se, can appear, there must first be the stone in the rough. Moreover, do the reject the stone because of the G. The G shows the initiate, the path he must take. Accept it as it's found, but seek to learn the laws of the workmanship, governing its transformation from an unsightly pebble into a shiny gem. In masonry, G represents geometry. Math has 4 divisions, which are algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, right? Geometry is the universal law of perfection, the science of which the culture Moors we always had, and which will always be in the hands of the kinky-haired descendants of North America. Therefore, Moors, nation of North America, cannot be destroyed. So when you got that 6-pointed star, that's the end of Islam. The physically perfected man, or Adat, possesses and is master of the 7 physical senses, the 7 psychic senses, and the 7 states of consciousness. The number 7 denotes the completeness of physical life. It indicates readiness for transition to a new octave of endeavor. When I be telling my brothers I'm going to be gone in a minute, not like that, but just a new octave of endeavor. Because you are rising to different things. And I've been telling my brothers better use me and use me while you can, because there's so much fake stuff. It's only a couple of clean glasses. I'm telling you. That's why I said it can't be denied. The 6-pointed star of the Moorish nation is referred to as the so-called Jewish Star of David. And let it ever remind you that the divine Trinity is reflected, within you, matter, when you put those 2 triangles together. And the lower triangle must be lifted up until the balance, the upper, and forms the so-called 6-point star. Your life interlaced with the divine. The upper triangle represents a woman, and the spiritual plane, the north node, or Adon, the north gate, and the summer season. The lower triangle represents man. Here we go talk about that Baphomet, Tip Hob Abs Apple. The south pole, or the Kahod, the south gate, and the winter season. Thus, these 2 triangles are now perfectly what? Balanced, giving us the 6-pointed star, or symbol of equilibrium, or the spirit matter. Where you be hearing these people, oh, you got the 6-point star, you got to do. You have no science, and you ain't elite. You being laughed at. Ain't no star, David. You might have took it as that scientifically, if you understand, that's equilibrium of the spirit and matter. I showed you this in the 7 seals. All these people are Freemasons, no matter if they're black or white. That's why they ain't gonna come to me. See, I ain't took no oaths, so I ain't telling on nobody. I am the shrine. That's why I can speak like this. I wasn't part of no bull crap like I'm some whistleblower. Ain't no whistleblower. I'm telling you the stuff is bull crap. That's what I'm telling you. They truly denote the existence of but one creator who is perfectly expressed in both the visible and invisible worlds, as above, so below, is what these triangles say. And these two interlaced trines are something referred to as the two tables of stone. The sixth sign, Virgo, is also 180 degrees and covers the last month and the summer season. This is referred to in the mystical, religious, and secret orderisms as the land of Nod. I'm removing all the veils, just like the prophet did, or the North Gate, or North Pole per se. The positive North Pole's electric current flows to the negative South Pole. The 6.0 of Solomon is mentioned by Paul in 1 Corinthians 15:38-45. And he described the two realms, which explain the as above, so below principle, right? Often the star of so-called David as a G and a 7 in, when I be saying G7, when people be like, what are you talking about? Man, them Albions know G7, in ordering triumph of matter over spirit. In the other figures I show you, you have more light, for one arm is above the square. In other words, one arm of spiritual right angle is over the corresponding arm of the material right angle, indicating the gradual emergence of spirit from matter. See, the first six symbols, the triumph of the spirit over matter. For here, both arms of the spiritual right angle are over both arms of the matter of the right angle. Not only has further light been given, but in the triumph of spirit over matter, or the flesh, all the light that can be conferred on a master has been awarded the proficient neophyte. All of it. How did the Native Americans have the symbol? That's easy. I'm explaining it. I'm explaining it. When you go to the, I'm gonna go to the Herd Museum. When I show you in the Herd Museum, all these symbols, it was there. Just like the so-called swastika, all these was your symbols. Just like the so-called Eye of Horus, I can show you that that's another African symbol. That's how it was all your symbols. Just like when I talk about the circle 7, it's this same figure. Just like when I talk about the rose and the cross, it's the same thing. We just gave it away. The symbol not only indicates the triumph of spirit, but its resurrection, ascension, and dominion over all material conditions. The union of the compass and the square. The union of the compass and the square form a diamond, the hardest and the most precious stone. The G in the center of the diamond, in the rough, when ground and polished, it becomes a diamond without a blemish, and the God within these becomes manifest. This condition is symbolically represented by the Hebrew, what I gave y'all, right? Right? We like, this is so simple. Remember, in masonry, G represents geometry. I told y'all how math has 4 divisions, right? Right? And when we talk about the so-called 6-point star that weaves a certain way, you know what I'm talking about? The center, the G stands for geometry, Jin, the 7 stands for law, the 7 rungs of the ladder of the 7 Kemetic principles. The interlaced triad signify the triune creator, reflected in his creations. The so-called trinity of nature is the lock, rope, Eliphas or Eliphas, Levi, Eliphas, Levi, the European. And the trinity of man is the key that fits it, but it's all more science. And they'll tell you, they always learn by Muslim Sufis. Even Adam Blavatsky, when you hear Negroes say Noble Ali was taught by Adam Blavatsky, I say that's cap. The 2 triads signify the 6 creative groups, the 6 powers in nature, the 6 planes of consciousness and of evolution, the 6 principles of man. All of the principles are synthesized in the 7th principle. And no disrespect, how can a European give you something that they ain't have no writing. And they all went to the continent of Africa to learn the science. Adam Blavatsky, to all the so-called Sufis, to so-called Aleister Crowley, to so-called Pascal Beverly Randolph. If they wrote something, they ain't wrote nothing. This is what I'm telling you, facts. The supreme triangle, the white triangle, pointing upwards, symbolizes Shiva, fire, light, celestial powers, and also the divine trinity in man, ever evolving upward after its incarnation in matter, seeking more expression on a higher level. The reflection, when we talk about black per se, the triangle pointing downward symbolizes the dark waters of chaos in which the divine germ is laid, and also the instability of man's lower nature. You know, in our benediction, we say the inconsistency, instability, but it's still a part of our nature that is divine, unstable as water. That's how a lot of these we are. We unstable like water. And the truth right in your face. I'm breaking down all the holy books in a small dissertation. And I have all the original manuscripts. All the manuscripts going to be burnt up in a minute. It's only going to be someone in due course and holder of it that can teach it the right way. That's from the temple. It ain't no true brothers from the temple that's educated, anointed, and consecrated that have been in the plethora houses. You know? But in conclusion, the woman has 12 outlets in her body, of which 9 are above the navel in the north gate, and 3 below the navel in the south gate. Man has 9 outlets in his body, 7 of which are above the navel in the north gate, the other 2 below the navel in the south gate. I can show y'all the 0 zodiac circle, the M of Islam. I'm going to explain this last one and I'm done. We out of here. The crossified 0 zodiac circle is the last principle of Islam. It is the mark of the master and signifies when one has completed the 360 degrees of learning on one level. He must now embark on the first degree of the next. The quartified circle denotes the division of matter into both visible and invisible, animate and animate, and organic and inorganic states. The lower half, that is, however, the upper divided half, represents spirit divided in the physically visible and invisible higher realms. The master symbol also represents the 4 seasons, the 4 directions, north, south, east, west, the 4 quarters of ascension of man, the 4 quarters of the dollar system, and the 4 lunar phases. The 4 lunar phases are the great significance as represented by the 5th principle of Islam, because they have the most powerful influence upon all terrestrial life, and second only to the vitalizing influence of the sun. The moon exerts more power on the earth because it's closer than any other planet. The last quarter is the strongest. When the moon is full, it is closest to the earth and has an adverse effect on the lower nature of man, because we sun-kissed. Luna is also the fastest planet in this part of the universe, for it takes only 28 days to make its orbit around the earth, right? Also, the power exerted on women and on the woman is exhibited through Luna. The 4 quarters of the master symbol, 90 times 4 equals 360 degrees, is the number 9. The number of man. Every man is born on a square. The baby lies on a 90-degree angle in a woman's womb from conception to birth and is in gestation for 9 months. Supreme manifestation. Because mathematics and the principle of Islam, the number 1 represents the brown man, or the descendant of the Moabite nation, the Moorish nation. It also expresses the absolute and infinite possibilities, and it is from which all proceeds, which contains all, and to which all finally returns. It signifies that everything came from the all, the so-called Buddha, God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever, and that all earthlings are descendants from the one race, the Moabite race. Out of the corruption of the Moabite nation came the Moors, the Moor being derived from the word Moabite. Therefore, all men are Moors, whether they are conscious or unconscious. One represents the universal principle, the creative intelligence, the force which is the motive power of the universe, and man becomes intellect and will. In science, it is the law of conversation and energy. In the microcosm, it indicates unlimited potentiality. In man, it indicates relative potentiality. The number 2 expresses polarity. It suggests night and day, inhalation and exhalation, heat and cold. Y'all get what I'm saying? I don't want to stay too far in it because I can go on and on and on and on with the wisdom. That's why I ask my brothers and sisters to please support our temple and school for we can take this farther, so we can take it to the elementary houses, for we can take this to the universities, for we can bring teachers to our brothers and sisters and show them, for we can stop arguing with each other. Once again, thank everyone for the donations. Thanks for your time, for listening to little old me. Once again, my days don't be long, but I like to get up early, work out at 6 a.m., be able to do this, go out and do my worldly job, deal with all the other things I need to do, come home, do my home duties, everything, do my salats, do my meditations, and then do an evening teaching. Because if I'm going to be going places and teaching, and I look back and I look in the crowds when I'm speaking, and it's none of our people there, and I'm getting paid for what I do, I know I'm doing a solid. I know when I come back and teach this, and when I teach it to all these people, it's packed, and they give donations. I'm telling my people, we can do something. We can have our own structure. We don't have to be arguing with each other. We can show people the true side of this Moorish science. We can show people the true side of Moorish science. From love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. From wisdom, from education, from building, from using our dollars. I'm telling you, I don't have nothing else for people. All this poor science stuff is not what I teach. It's not what I went to academia and learn to bring back to my people. I ain't coming to my people and bring back no welfare or bring back some Negro, black, and color, some slave stuff. I came back to show my people we have a nationality and a spirituality. And if we all working, which we all are, everybody on here got a job, I'm telling you, the money that we giving Uncle Sam, we can decipher that to the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, which is our religious and charitable contribution of our choice, and build our infrastructure and build our brick and mortar. When? Right now. Without nobody life changing. That's what I'm on. And if nobody ain't on that, you have to tell me why. Because I've been telling people I'm getting ready to be gone, and a lot of this stuff that I'm doing, I'm not doing it no more. Because it brings no gain. People get excited, they want wisdom, they want to get this, and I say to do what? Because you got to have a different type of understanding to be a leader of men. You gotta go through a certain discipline. So I'll be asking brothers and sisters, what is this for? You want to build a nation? No, I want to do this. I want to do this. Well, how? Just by reading some books? And so what I tell my brothers, if we can't commit, I'm not just here for misnomer black people and Moors. I tell people who I am. I went to academia to provide a living and to educate a people that was subjugated. And to do the same, to do something with our money that we do to these churches and things, and to use that same blueprint to do a good with our people. That's what my mission is. I want to go say, hey, we can take these tools and these blueprints and do it for the good. Hey, these churches and these places, the taxes in for the federal government, religious and charitable and scientifically and educational wise. We are too. We just need to structure ourselves. Why? So our brothers and sisters that have jobs, that's paying taxes, can decipher some of that money to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice, your religious school, your temple and your school and your communication, in your community, your culture, and do that. That's what I'm talking about. And so if brothers and sisters just want to be here and listen and don't support, I can't deal with that no more. And I always tell my people, because if I was on here acting niggerly, I'd be big and famous. Somebody told me, Sheik, you got to say something crazy and you would be viral. You would be one of those, what they call it, a social, I can't remember what they call it. I said, I don't want to be that. I don't want to tell everybody I'm finna do this and that crazy and do dumb stuff to make somebody money on social media. That ain't why I got into this. I didn't get on here to speak to my people to make no money off social media, to go viral off some stupid and tell you I'm doing it to be stupid. I'm not compromising myself or my integrity or my brothers and sisters for no dollars. But what I'm saying, we can use our dollars to do something good. If I'm saying something that's good, we go to the clubs and we pay every time. We go buy clothes to go to the clubs. We buy cheap, expensive drinks in the club. We go to the same club every week, every couple days per se. And so when I'm saying this, if we frequenting this, we have to be able to come out of our pockets some freaking time. I would think, if not, then what we think, because I'm not a poor righteous teacher. I do this in love. And then I ask all Moors, if y'all came or true light seekers, if y'all came to my physical temple, would you give a donation? Yes. And I say, well, you done came to class a plethora of times, ain't never gave nothing. So what's the holdup? This is what I ask people. This what I ask. This what I ask people. I say, well, what's the purpose? Because we can't. I mean, come on. No athlete, no entertainer from your city never done nothing with no money after they basketball days or why they playing. And I got a whole bunch of homies I can name from my city, but I'm not going to belittle them in front of everybody to prove my point. I just speak in general. Them Negroes had all that money, all the stuff they say they want to do in the community. Nobody did nothing. None of them own no homes in the neighborhood. None of them own no schools, no community centers. None of that crap. So who gonna do it for us? We can. We can show all that. And so when I ask my brothers and sisters when they show up, or if they show up to specific classes, I'm not telling no people when you show up always give a donation. But if you want to learn and if you like what's going on, you don't think when you come to class Saturday or Sunday something should be given to that body? I'm just saying, because if not, then I understand. Let me know before I can block you. Because we pay for entertainment, and this is what I tell people. Then I say, well, okay, well, treat me like you would treat anything else. If this entertainment, well, we pay for entertainment. If it's not entertainment, I'm not asking for nobody to pay me. I'm saying, is this worth a donation? Is the wisdom and everything I'm talking about, I can give you. Everything that I speak on, all my notes, I have the literature. And when I go to academia, I get love, I get donation from a plethora of students. I have so many books. All I'm asking my brothers and sisters is what's the problem? Because if we show up consistently every morning and evening when I get back home, and the same people is here, I gotta be saying something right, or just you just trying to get some information from me to try to, I don't know, do what? Whatever it is, that's fine, but I'll give it to you whatever you want and see how it worked for you. I ain't no hater. I tell this to all my brothers. What's the purpose? Because this is a free platform. If I say there's no reason for me to be going on here, I have muftis, like one of my muftis is on here, Brian, and I say, Noble, okay, well, I'm not doing no social media anymore. So all the videos that I do with y'all in class and on StreamYard, y'all stream live it on y'all channels. Y'all have me on y'all pages, like all my European colleagues do or anybody else. This is what I'm saying. When we have something that's good, we don't have to be posting with nothing nobody else saying. That's like my dad said, how you a sheik and other people in your family posting stuff about Moors or asking questions, I wonder what this is, or I wonder this, or is this the truth? And your own cousin, uncle, brother, whatever, is a sheik in Moorish Science Temple and an educator, and you don't ask him. That's why we get hangman. That's why we get hangman, and then we play stupid. We act like we don't know. That's what Negro Masons do. That's what these Negroes do. They play stupid. They say, well, don't you have a brother? And then and the European say, yeah. They're like, is your brother a sheik, educator, a scholar, this, that, and the other, been doing all this? You will say, yeah. And they say, well, why you didn't go to him? Oh, I don't know. That's stupid. And this what I be saying. This what we do. We always try to belittle something. I say, do you like what's going on? Yeah. Well, why don't we support it? I ask all Moors that because they think, well, are you charging for something? I never said I charge. But a workman is due his hire. What do we talk about? Money ain't just the option. It is the only option when you building, when it takes money to do things, when it takes money to have a brick and mortar, to print books, to take kids to games and do all these things, to buy fezzes and sell them for good prices, to do all these things, to bring people in, to help people. All this stuff that we can do in-house. And I throw the question back to my brothers. If I'm so this and so great and people call me their sheik, just like no people call my mom their mom, but on Mother's Day you celebrate your mom. If I'm your sheik, that means there's certain things that we do. And I'm asking my brothers and sisters, why do we feel we can build something without no finances? Just like if you was building something and I showed up every time. And I'm getting legit, and I'm asking you questions, and I know you trying to build something in the flesh, and I say I'm a Moor, and I like what you're doing. I ain't bringing nobody else to the science. So you a rogue? So who were you talking to before you even came and dealt with me? You weren't talking to nobody about this? If you was, then you would be like, yeah, the people I was dealing with, they all off the rockers. I'm dealing with you. I'm trying to bring them in to clean them up. I'm with it. Or you got an ultimate motive. This is what I'll be asking brothers. Because how can a person start dealing with me and never dealt with me before on the internet, and then not all the way in? And then the first thing we revert to, oh, I don't have no money. That'd be the first thing, the cliche, is we do. But a person will come on your page, your live, want these books, and be all out of the place. and don't want to be systematic. And that's the only way you're going to get something, is do it systematically. But everybody want to take on the form that they can do it on their own. And most people, you can't. Because a lot of people try to skip steps. And it ain't no steps to skip. Everybody want a trick. That's what I be telling people. I say, dude, I'm going to give you what you want. But I know you ain't ready for it. And I know what? Ultimately, the tools that you have, you're going to cut your neck. It's going to be overwhelming for you. Why? Because you're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be chasing things. And that's going to consume you. It happens every time. My muftis know I'm telling the truth. It happens every time. Once I look in your eye, it happens every time. See, this is what I be selling. I know people age. I'm an elder. I had a dude, mama, call me and say, Sheik, I want to apologize. He was like, well, mama, he your age? She said, yeah. Excuse my candor. Nigga. She said, I went to school with him. He your daddy age. He graduated from college. He was like, he the one that was in the prison that was talking to your dad. You remember I showed you? Sheik Kareem and Bay came to the Thumb Correctional Facility. That's him. When your dad was in the prison in South Carolina, they were saying they were able to watch the Sheik on the video when they would be able to go watch TV, and the wardens let them watch him. Me. So when people be coming and I be telling people, I say, man, you ain't even old enough, you ain't even learned enough or been homeschooled and been around enough wisdom to have these aspirations. And I say, it takes years of perfecting self. And I ain't even all the way at that level, even though I've been in the chamber for years as an elder. But when I be telling young brothers, don't think a book is just it. A book is just paper. A book is just paper. If a person say, man, you can get rich by reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you read that book front and back and you still poor, then the book ain't gonna make you rich, is it? How can it? I'm telling you application, dedication, supply and demand. I'm telling you finding something to sell, a product, marketing it, doing it in the right way, and mastering anything what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing this and do this. No, we're going to take where you are, your aspiration, your ability, your God-given dream that you have. We're going to master this. We're going to make it the right way, and we're going to maximize that to your best ability. That's so when a young man, what you say, young noble? Let me see what the young noble said. You said advice for a 24-year-old on their path. For a young man like you, Noble, I say ask all the questions you can. And if you're dealing with people that say they elders and they love you and they say why you got a whole bunch of questions, you tell them Sheik Kareem Goodman Bey, that's the education of the scholar. He said, well, there ain't no such thing as a dumb question. And I want to be matter-factual. And can you give me reference and can you give me a scholarship to what you're giving? Because if not, it's just rhetoric. It's just a belief system. That's what I'll tell a young man. I'll tell a young man always use his brain and connect with people that's open, not no one that's trying to shut your light out or program you. That's what I would tell you that. I would tell you to be a free thinker. I would tell you to study and research as much as you can. I would tell you to connect to someone like myself that's an educator that have libraries, that's done this in academia in all houses. That's what I would tell you to do. I would tell you to never be afraid of who you are, especially as a young man, 24. That's what I would tell you. I would tell you to stay away from all these paper terrorists that's calling themselves some Moroccan general or some Moroccan president, and they got some power, and they talk about they some sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. I would tell you to stay away from all that, and I would tell you to ask all the questions you can, and I would tell you to attach to a wisdom like myself on the hip. That's what I would tell any young man for a mapping a God. Anyone, I would say, well, who's your mentor? If you go into academia and I'm your counselor and this is your first time going in and they say, well, man, Sheik Kareem Goodman Bey, mentor all the brothers, and help them navigate to this. I say, well, who's your mentor? Who's your teacher? Who's your rabbi? Who's your Rabboni? Oh, I don't have one. Okay, well, then that's fine. We can't say we're not being guided through the steps, through the brotherhood. That's what I tell all young men. Just like Boy Scouts, before you a Boy Scout, you have to be a Tiger Cub. Just like in masonry ranks, just like in my brotherhood, the initiation is the wisdom. That's what I would tell a young man that's on the path of enlightenment. If you're on the path of enlightenment, I hope you link with men and women that's on that path. That when the student comes, the teacher will present itself. That's what I would hope. I would tell a young man to research anything, person that you heard. I tell you to go on my YouTube channel and see what I've been professing. Go on our Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School and see what I've been professing from day one. To see if I'm changing or if I'm trying to sell something from somebody, and you can make a sound judgment. That's what I would tell a young man. That's what I would tell a young man on the path. I would tell a young man, all wisdom is good. But when a person say this is better than that, that's not science. When is afraid of who they are in culture and your national headdress and teaching true more science, that's not valid. So that's what I tell a young brother like yourself, young noble, young noble. That's what I tell you, brother Nasir, for a young noble that's 24, that's right in the age to learn. Noble, I'm getting ready to be 48 in January. I'm getting ready to be double your age. And I'm from the city of Flint, Michigan. I done been through it all. Seen my friends die. I done seen it all. Seen my brother die, my baby brother killed Jelani Goodman, babe. Seen my homie get murdered by police. Seen my other homie get his head blew off. I've seen a lot of tragedy. But through the tragedy, that's why I love my people so much. I have an obligation. I have a dedication. I have a commitment. And I'm transparent. I went through the fire. I went through the academia on both levels to understand wisdom, to understand history, and to understand finances, and in the specific science of tax exempt status, being a religious community that's tax exempt for the federal government, religious, charitable, scientific, education wise, and we can use the money that we giving Uncle Sam willingly with our taxes to our religious organization, and people hold me accountable. And you see, we build our infrastructure, our temples, our schools, our libraries, and then you see us start buying houses in the neighborhood, and the brothers that know how to fix them, we refurbishing them. This is the science that come with a person that has keys. That's what I'm telling the young man. So young man, you only 24, you dealing with you dealing with somebody like myself and my brethren, that we have all different levels of brothers. We got my young brother, Drayshawn, that's on here. He just became, he's a father 4 times. But we have young men. So when men dealing with the right thing and they're talking about money as well, instead of arguing over religion, using your finances, you can look at your future and be like, well, man, I can see in my future, because these brothers building and here, and I'm with these brothers, and they down there 20 years, my elder or my senior, I see my future. How? Because they are building the future. How? The future is right now. And if I'm dealing with a brother that's 20 years older than me, that love me, that's building, what's going to happen? You're going to be able to see this materialize even faster. This is what I'm telling young brothers. You don't have to go to jail to find yourself. That's why I love the answer that the young noble said. See, when the young nobles want wisdom, you got to say, well, hell yeah, I'm lost. And I don't have to go to prison to find myself. You can get all that wisdom right here. And noble, I'm telling you, and I'm glad you reached out. I'm right here. I fly to your city. I fly everywhere on my own dime. Everybody know that I fly everywhere on my own dime. Once this other level happens, when the donations come in, I give everybody a taxes and receipt, it's over. It's over. It's over. When brothers systematically come and study, when brothers be okay with giving $40 a month, all I ask brothers to give $40 a month. You come to private class, you come to adapt class, you come to Sunday school, you come to our scheduled workouts, you come to our book club. All this stuff getting ready to be private. Because like I told people, we've done enough. We've done enough legwork that we can play reruns over and over and over. How? We have a full database. We've done a lot of work. That's why I'm telling my brothers and sisters. So why we have a problem with being a part of something and donating $40 a month? Or sometimes when I ask nobles $100 a month, which is $25 a week. People smoke more money up than that with the marijuana than what I'm asking. And you get a taxes and receipt. This is the science of what I'm saying. We got to be okay with talking about money. And most of our brothers, we just not. Because we're not there at that pureness yet. We're not there to a whole understanding to know that it takes finances. I don't care any organization you look at, from T.D. Jakes to Bishop Morton to Joel Osteen to any Jewish big synagogue. You think it operated just on that individual having some money? No, then he'll be the sole priority. No, it's ran off donations and the people, the stakeholders. It might not be set up that way, but that's how it's supposed to be. That's how I would do it. Because all the people are stakeholders. All the people use the tax exempt number. But we use our money we give Uncle Sam to build our infrastructure, to build our temple and school. That's how, brothers. I really don't have nothing else. Everything else is Negroes begging, poor science, squatting in houses, and filing fake ass paperwork. That's what Moors get, and they don't want to tell the truth. But they know that's the common terminology that's going out here. Oh, I met this Moor. He said he's a consulate general. Oh, I can file his paperwork and all that false stuff. All that European, Roger, Elvic, sovereign, citizen, paradigm, militia, overthrow the government, criminal behavior. That's all that is. So research Roger Elvick, and then you tell me what you get. And then you tell me if this not what these Negroes doing with Fez's own. Yes, they are. They acting as some domestic terrorists, foreign and abroad. If I start showing y'all the domestic terror list, all the Negroes on there that y'all follow, I start showing y'all all the fake pages that you think real Moors on the internet is really the police. Because they have a thing called the Internet Task Force. I tell you. I'm telling you. And everybody know I'm telling the truth. Everybody know I'm telling the truth. That's what I tell you, young man. Not to get caught up in no bull crap, listen to no old person, or watching a whole bunch of videos to show you how to be a criminal. Just like that BMF, I'll leave with this. Just like when BMF came on, and you see Negroes with all their different stupid ass opinions. You heard some more. I saw in the comments one more like, you see what he said? You see, he said that ain't his land. He took over that dude's house. Man, that ain't how that worked. That's fake. That's depicting a false image. That's defamation. And the reason why nobody's saying that is because a lot of them Negroes ain't Moors. How can you bring up charges and you ain't from the Moorish Science Temple of America? You're going to have to prove that you're from the Moorish Science Temple of America. Not just say it and be butthurt. I'm from the temple. What I'm telling you, I know it's distasteless. But I let them criminals have that. And I stand in the midst of it. So when Moors or brothers act like they know this or been doing that, I said, that ain't Moorish science. I'm going to stand strong against it. They're going to research me. There ain't nothing them Negroes can say. Not one. Because they know it ain't Moorish science. And they know that ain't nothing no prophet promulgated. This is what I'm telling you, and I have a school. So if you want to learn something, I would tell you to go to school. But what? Negroes has been programmed not to like school. I don't, how can I say? I don't blame you for not liking the way school is taught today in public school when they teach you a false history. But I'm telling you right now, in the midst of that, when you have to go to school to get that public education, in the midst of that, you can be getting this special learning. You can get this special learning so you can be like myself or others if you want to go to academic endeavors and say, wait a minute, I can go on this and prove my plight like I did in spirituality at Grand Canyon University. I got my dual master's degree in first century history, religion, and linguistics and Christian history. That's my degree, my dual master's degree. And I talk just like this in academia. Destroy Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda from love, your brother. Not coming to you trying to say, okay, well, I learned this. Now I'm going to be a gatekeeper and still promulgate that criminal behavior, black stuff. No lawyer, nobody that say they for the liberation of your people can sit next to me and say a black is going to save us. Some black lives is going to matter, is going to save us. And being identified as Negro, black, and color is the key. Or some 14th Amendment Negro stuff is the key. I'm going to tell you that that's hogwash. And nobody in their right mind, I don't care how many letters they got behind their name, their degrees, they ain't going to be able to come and sit next to me with that folly. Just because you have some degrees, because we can get a person that ain't into none of this, that's a regular educator that has the wisdom to be the referee. And I guarantee you, I can come out victorious with flying colors and I can rest my case. How I know? Because I already done this in academia with professors, with all these religious so-called Europeans that think they know something, that try to come with all that Greek European perspective and try to act like the Egyptian manuscripts wasn't before this. When I started pulling out the tablets and the ancient languages, they be shutting the hell up. And when I come with constitutional law, and they be shutting the hell up. When I say, man, I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for no games from none of our people that look like me. So when I say this, and I don't need confirmation from no European, no Albion to tell me I'm telling the truth. I'm going to tell them that I'm telling the truth because they know. I don't need to be stamped by no European, no Albion, or no trailer dyke. None of that. Why? Because I got the education that they trying to tell you that means something that they think that you don't have. But I got it. I'm an alumni in the same schools they went to. I'm part of the same so-called secret societies that they part of. I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. When they come with the games, I come with all the wisdom, all the documents, because you dealing with the shrine. That's what I'm telling you. Brothers be coming to me like, man, I want to be a Mason. And then my professor was on there one day, was like, this is blasphemy. He's like, why you want to be a Mason and you talking to 99 degrees, your brother? Why would you want to talk to something or be something that's lower than what you see in your face? So you clearly don't love yourself. Why? Because your brother right here, you should want to be a part of what your brother have. But you want to be a part of something that's lower, maybe because it's in your city. So you just want to be a part of a group, but you don't want to know who you are. You don't want to use your finances for building. You want your money to go to somewhere else and be this part of outward appreciation. to do things, to do pageantry. This is why I say, this is what I tell people. When brothers come to me, they say, yeah, man, I want to be a Prince Hall Mason. A mystic name? Do you know who the Hall family is? And then when I say, so you're going to take an oath, but then believe in the scriptures and science, we don't take no oath. I initiate my brothers through the wisdom. You don't take no oath. I keep telling brothers, we are a brotherhood. This is the order of Melchizedek. It's nothing that you're going to get from lower level Masons or nothing else that I already illuminated and from lower wisdom. Because you're not going to get no high wisdom. Only with high wisdom you're going to get it from your brother, and I give that in private. And the lower level Masons, when you see one, they'll be like, man, he giving y'all high wisdom. And I'm telling you, I'm not. I'm telling you with a fact. Matter of fact, I'm giving you a schoolmaster. I haven't even went in the third heaven. And my mufti's been with me for 5 years. I ain't even went to the other level, because the other level is manifestation in the flesh. I keep talking about it. We ain't mature to that level yet. We ain't manifested to that level. We getting ready to get there. This is why I keep telling people. It's like once we get there collectively, boom, we there. When you will see me and I see you, well, you will see me. And the reason why people don't see me like that, because they don't see themselves in it, or they want to replace. But I ask my brothers and sisters, why are you here? What's your motive? And that's why I ask everybody, what is your motive dealing with me? Because if I'm a club and my club say, oh, it costs $20 to get in, you're going to pay $20. If my club say it costs $100 to get in, you're going to be like, man, that mug be jumping. And then you're going to buy all those cheap-ass expensive drinks in my club that you can buy a bottle for. I'm going to sell you 2 drinks for the same price a bottle costs, and you happy. So if that's the case, if you like that, you say, man, I love niggertainment. So if this entertainment, if it is, okay, treat me the same way. If it's not entertainment, if it's enlightening and it's still worth a value, still treat me the same way. If it's not, tell me that so we can deal with it in that manifestation. So I can say, okay, I respect such and such and such and such because such and such told me that they don't believe in that and that and other, and they just here just to piggyback, and they don't want to support nothing. And that's fine. And I will say, okay, well, it's other places you can go. But I bet you can't go nowhere else for education. You can go other places for theory. You can go to other places where people will send you other places, or you got to go to this ancient bookstore, this hidden bookstore to get this. I'm telling you, you ain't got to go to no store, because I'm the store right here, and I can give it to you for a donation. You ain't got to go to no store to get a she-mag or no feds. Why? Because I'm the source. That's why. That's why. You ain't got to go to nobody else and get a tunic or a kuther. Why? Because I'm the source. That's why. I got a warehouse. I keep telling people, I use my finances to do the things that I love. And ain't no one supporting this. Just imagine when we have donors and supporters, how everybody can have everything they need. Why? Because money coming in. Because people donate. You are a member. You come to the library, you get books and things and all that. Why? Because you're a member. This is the dynamics of community. This is what I'm telling y'all. The temple, the so-called temple or the school, it wasn't just no place where we in there going over some religious scripture or some dogmatic scripture. No, the temple, the schoolhouse, and different times of the day, we're teaching different crafts. To what? To build our community, which I teach. That's why I tell people, religion is not going to get us there. Why? Because everybody, the misnomer black man, I can name 5 religions on my hand that the misnomer black man adhere to. And they all different, but they all got the same book. That's why I'll be like, man, I ain't got time for that, so it got to be another mission. And I ain't here for everyone. I'm here for the people that understand my voice. For we can show a nation in a nation and the religious laws. I'm not here to convert no one. I'm here for those people that understand me. I'm here for those light bearers, those people that want to be illuminated. That's who I'm here for. I'm okay for not being for everyone, but if I'm for you and you tune in on a time, you got to show some love. If not, what's the purpose of you being here? You got to want to. If I'm courting you, that means I want to be in a relationship with you. That means I want to see you not only private, I want to see you in public too, but I want to see you in private. So I'm trying to convert you from the public platform where everybody can see to private, so we can do things as a family. So the wisdom don't have to be shared. We have the right to be private. I'm trying to convert my people privately to Zoom, to my platform as students. It's a lot to come that you're going to get as a student to convert you from social media to the public access to now private. Now when you learn, you be like, man, my brother got private lessons and he or she can. He asked for the donation. They building the temple. All these great things you can see. You can read their bylaws, read their brochure. Look what this brother been doing. Look what they're doing. They own land. This is what they're trying to do. This is the blueprints. This is what I'm all about. Yeah, man, they teach privately. Saturday and Sunday, they have little snippets they show on social media, but this is the conversion to go private. Because we always tell what we're talking about. And that's what I tell people, go private. Just like those people was on TikTok and they'll talk about they have classes strictly for black people and then white people was jumping on it. If you got something for public, that's what happens. That's what happens. If you say this is public, that's like when you are the faith-based initiative, you can't be private. Because you just gave up your privateness. So when you got things on the public, that's what it is. Now, I teach public for general, but I also teach private. I have the right to teach private. And I have a private platform that I teach private. Who? To my members and my students, which I have the right to do. I have the right to control that on that platform because I ain't under no faith-based initiative, get no money from no one. And somebody say, well, you got to do this for everyone and everything is love. No, it's not. I understand love, but no, it's not. I understand righteousness for all man, but I have a mission. And my mission is for my people. And in the midst of that, if righteousness for everyone, if a European and Arabic or Trinidad love what I'm saying, then they should, because I'm speaking wisdom. That's why I roll out here in Arizona. I be telling people, most of my comrades and in my private life, they're not this color. The people that support me is not this color. That's why I said family. When I'm gone, no one can say I sold out. No one can say she went and did this just for the money. Everybody can say she's been doing this for years. As he graduated from college, as we seen him working at his shoe stores, as we seen him lecturing in the so-called church houses, as we seen him come to Arizona and have his own temple and schools. This man just risen to go to a place where he said he making a living. And it's prosperous. And it's people that's attentive. And everything that he's been doing, it's like they want it. And people are willing to give donations from what I'm doing. When I go do lectures, I don't even have to ask for a donation. These people be giving me an envelope. They like, you're not used to this? I say, no. They're like, well, get used to it. I say, well, I got to give something back. They're like, no, you don't. They're like, you can give everybody a tax and receipt. I'm like, damn. My empress like, don't get nothing back. Put it in your pocket. And when she's saying it like that, because she's saying it's disrespectful if you try to give something back. Because my empress speaking wisdom, she knows she a businesswoman as well, and she worked with doctors and things. She like, these people did a collection for you. Like, why are you going to give something back? Your presence, you blessing them with your presence, and you giving them books, and you giving them wisdom. Like, come on, you got to start accepting these things. And I'm telling people, it was just hard for me to accept it. And when I come here with my people on social media, when I deal with this, I'll be like, damn, is it that hard with our people? Everybody hard up on a couple dollars. None of my people have $100 a month to build the infrastructure. If people say, well, the Moorish Science Temples is this, okay, well, forget the Moorish Science Temples. The Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple in school, we teach it the right way, and I'm from the temple. I just showed you all my conferred degrees from the temple. I just showed you all my ID from the temple. I just showed you how the temple is set up. I've been transparent with you. It ain't nothing else I can do. It ain't nothing else I can do. You think the prophet established the Moorish Science Temple in the flesh without no finances? Come on. And that's why I say this is poor science today. Is because when you're dealing with more, especially men, the first thing come out their mouth is, oh, I ain't got no money, go on their social media page. Them Negroes having a freaking ball. So that's where I'm at with the wisdom. We got to be able to say, oh, yeah, I want to put something behind it. We got to stop saying we don't have no money and everybody have jobs or everybody's spending money on something. Because I bet you everybody on here have more than one pair of shoes. I bet you everybody on here have more than 2 pair of pants. I bet you everybody on here has more than 2 pair of shirts. And if you smoke marijuana, I bet you got some right now. I bet you don't eat Spam sandwiches all day. I bet you can go get something to eat from anywhere right now at any time. So if this is so important to you, like my professor said, like I tell my people, why, when it comes down to it, the first thing people say is, I don't have nothing. And I say, how can we build something? So that's clandestine. So when I say, once this happened and we get the big brick and mortar, and then everybody say, well, I'm part of this too, which you can be. But it'd be clandestine. A person say, well, did you help brother get to this level? No, but I'm part of it. Well, why wouldn't you give donation? I ain't have no money. Yes, you do. You can give something consistently. And that's what I tell brothers and sisters. We can't give something consistently. We can't give something consistently. It'll never work. But brothers show up every time, consistently. But we can't give nothing consistently. That's why I say it'll never work. That's why I say we don't love each other, because we giving our money to Uncle Sam, and we not going to build nothing. I ask everybody, people be buying books from me, and you dealing with the teacher. You dealing with the Sufi, the master, the teacher per se. I'm not saying I'm a master. I say I'm a master student, but I confer degrees. I teach as well. And you don't say, man, you don't follow that map and guide. She'll be like, hey, man, what should I study? This to keep you disciplined. As you study inspiration, light bulb moments can start sprinkling. And you can start, oh, I got this. All right, because I was reading this and the inspiration of this. Just like my Muftis, how they was rocking with me for a minute. And they explained it to you the same way. They was like, wait a minute, Sheik was giving us so many books. They thought they had to read everything. I said, no. I said, the Spirit's going to touch you that as you've been systematic with your teachings, as you're being attentive to what you're being seen and what you're being applying, then when your Holy Spirit that does the teaching is going to connect you to all the other stuff. This is what I tell people. But when you a rogue per se, and you just picking things up, it's just data. Data must be applied. I don't care if a person have a whole bunch of stuff in their head and their life in shambles. You just have data. It ain't no knowledge. It's just data. Let me see you use it. Can't use it, but you know all this stuff. But your life is in shambles. And the person say they don't have $40, but they call themselves a master teacher this. They call themselves Rabboni this. And I say, well, who's your students? Who's your students? Do you have students in academia that call you that? And in different colors? Because I do. I do. When I teach the Sephiroth, when I teach the European, the Jewish text and all that, a lot of my European Jewish colleagues that I graduated with from GCU, they call me Rabboni. And I do go to their Jewish synagogues, and I go to their Masonic houses and teach, because my professor is one. This is what I'm telling people when they call me Melchizedek. Some call me a high priest. And this is what I tell my brothers and sisters. We have to get to the science and do that. We be dissing all our elders. We be dissing all our elders that did some good. Just like all these brothers on these conscious shows, all these shows where people used to watch Sonnet and all that stuff, but they talk about all that stuff, but they know Dr. Ben was heavy, they know John Henry Clark, they knew Ivan Van Sertima, and then a lot of people be trying to diss Dr. York, but they know damn well Dr. York tablets come from history, and that's what a lot of them be talking about. You will catch them like polite with under Dr. York, and then with Masons, I'll show you. You will see a lot of brothers, the Egyptologists, they'll give credit to Dr. York because Dr. York did bring something, and Dr. York was a Moor, and Dr. York did have access to the Egyptian tablets the same way I do, the same way with the languages. This is a fact. It can't be denied. That's why I said absolute power corrupts people absolutely. And what Dr. York did with his movement in Atlantic was powerful. Now, whatever he was accused of and the accusations, I don't care. But I look at the cases and I can know who recanted the recant. But in all actuality, when we talk about wisdom, when we talk about science, the only way we can do something is put some real understanding instead of belittling our brothers and try to have a pissing contest, is to come together, is to have a conglomerate, to unify, to build some brick and mortars, what? Temples and schools. For brothers can come to learn, for we can get skills, for you can know what's going on in the community, so we can know what houses we can deal with. It's a source of information. When you traveling this way, hey man, boom, the temple here, blah, 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 blah. Hey man, the brothers coming to this town, this neighborhood, these brothers building these houses in this area, or this is where they study at, do martial arts, blah, 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 computer labs, all this. This is a source of information. And if we donate money, we go here to see what we can do. We don't have to go outside of the walls of us. Why? Because we supporting it with the money we giving Uncle Sam. These is keys. So as I close, I give y'all honor. I give y'all love. I'm telling y'all, brothers and sisters, you don't have to be a member. You can be a life student. And you can be comfortable giving $40 a month consistently. See all the wisdom you get. Like a brother bought a book from me. See all the wisdom you get. What you say, lost my job today. Sorry, I've been missing class. Hey, nomad. But remember, this is what I tell people. This is what I tell people about a job. I'm glad you said that, nomad. I'm glad you said that, nomad. Because see, when people know me, my muftis on here, it's not just about money. It's about being homage, paying homage. And when we in situations, we might call stressful situations, it's always avenues. I guarantee you. It's just like I talk about bossing up on your own. Like for instance, a person say they went to prison, they got a felony, and they can't go through the front door, you go through the back door. Say if you a landscaper, then when you get all your proper licensing, if you know how to work with your hands, when you get your general contractor license, you get all that, and then you learn everything, you educate yourself on everything, you come let me help you educate this, because I teach this stuff, and then you get your contractor license and things, then you start bidding on things. But then we have to have conglomerates. Brothers be wanting to do this on their own. Another homie wanted to say he want to do it. Another homie say he do it. Y'all Negroes ain't came together and became a conglomerate with all y'all pennies and become a business. So this is what I tell people, who you dealing with. A lot of us be rogues. A lot of us be in the science. You can't look to the left. You can't look to the right, the front, the back. You have no one like you. You have no one around you that's building. We done messed up. That's why I'm saying a community. When you have a community, when you have resources, when people are donating to the organization with the money you give Uncle Sam, now you have community. But then, and this is what I tell people. Now you have resources. When hard times happen, you can say, well, man, I've been a part of this community. I've been came on hard times. You can look in the documents and be like, but brother been supporting with what he can monthly, whatever a person can. What I tell people, when you do what you can consistently, it's just like you giving what my mufti's giving. This is what I tell you. Why? Because we consistent. This is what I tell people. And we always can find a way. Because if a crackhead in the streets don't have a job and they find a way to smoke that dope, no brother that can't tell me that read all these books and have all this wisdom can't figure out a way to do what needs to be done. Because when I lose one, damn it, I gain two. When you don't have a job, your job is looking for a job. We don't have one. If you're looking for a basic 9 to 5, that's what I'm telling people. I say, well, okay, if I lost my job and I know people depend on me and that's all I got coming in, well, when I lose my job, damn it, I'm right now I'm looking for a job. I'm asking people, are they hiring? I'm on my social media, on my pages. I'm on Facebook. All the people I know, hey man, are y'all hiring? I'm gonna stay here. This skill I have, I'm putting it out here. Are y'all hiring? That's the work. But I say we lazy. We want an excuse because we became Americanized. But me, myself, I done been through some things. It's certain things I can't do based off some things that I say at a youthful discretion. But I didn't cry. I wasn't educating myself to be, like some people call it, a talented tenth. I wanted to be an expert in my field. And as I worked in my field in behavioral health therapy, seeing things was going on, I brushed off. I did my own thing. I'm a personal trainer. I do my own thing. Now, I graduated from Grand Canyon University and Clear University. As alumni, I get to go lecture. Now I've met groups of students at both universities. Now I used to go up there and lecture physically. Now I have my own system, my databases, where I have a couple, where I ain't gonna say the number, but I have a lot of students that I deal with privately that help them graduate. You see? So all these things, when we go through things, we go through things by ourselves. And I tell people, a storm will stop. And if you're going through a storm, then I tell people you can be protected in a quiver like a kangaroo. I'll give you an analogy. If I'm working, my whole analogy is the day that I can quit and you can't fire me. But if I do lose my job, I've stored some things up. A lot of people don't prepare like that because they're not financially literate. They look at it, their job is their life. No, your mind is your life. Your mind is everything. And if you understand that, when you're working, when you're making money, you know you can be out the door fast, especially if you're in a right to work state, especially if you're not the boss, you can get fired for anything. And a lot of times people don't tell the truth. If you late, you late. But anyway, I tell people how much you saving. A lot of people make something and don't save nothing. I say, so you ain't saving nothing out your check? Nope. So you ain't saving for a rainy day? Nope. You say, I'm trying not to stress out. Your words are helping at the moment. That's why I give wisdom, because we all done been there, nomad. And then when I ask a person what profession they been in, I said, if it's physical labor, working with your hands, man, one door closed, a million open. Just get on that grind. I'm telling you, that's like I tell my people. When I deal with brothers in prison, I tell people, you free. You have something nobody have. A prisoner will get out right now and be like, well, okay, I ain't got no job. I got a roof over my head. You got a couple nickels. Now it's time to grind. But if a person was been in a community, the community will cover you. These things that happen, people will have outlets. Because when one door closes, I'll be going to another one. A brother might say, hey, man, I know this temp service. I know this company where they hiring. I'm hiring. Go boom, 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 boom. Or whatever the cause may be. But just like me, I'm always trying to fill that void. Like my muftis, like I'm in Arizona, I told my muftis, I want y'all to move out here. I tell all my muftis that every day. One of them on here. I say y'all can move. Yes, if you work in physical labor, that's fine. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. You work to get to the next level if that's your aspiration. But I'm telling people you have to be willing to do something to make change. So out here in Arizona, that is ironic. I was working installing windows and doors. I am on Indeed right now. Yeah. Tell people to clear the panic up. Watch this. Just like in Arizona, I tell anybody, if you want to move to Arizona, where you can get in right now is Amazon. If it's an Amazon in your city, your state, all that complaining regular people be doing, screw that. You don't listen to nobody. Oh, it's hot as hell. I'm on my feet all day. So goddamn what? If your ass locked up, they're going to be telling you when to eat and all that. A Negro that's in prison, he'll get out and work at Amazon like it's a physical fitness, like it's kinetics, and be on that mission of stacking that bread. Be on the mission, be like, oh, I can feed my family. be like, shit, man, I want to work all the overtime and all that. It's getting ready to be wintertime in a minute. So then you get that, what you call that? I forget what they call that. The peak season. So that's what I would tell a person. I would tell a person to look all the ways you might have to move from an area. And if you have a map and a guide, a sheet, and brothers like myself, I try to move brothers to where I'm at. This is what I tell people, the encouragement, the community. Just imagine if we had a Moorish house, which we getting ready to get, and we working on having one in all my muftis area as we working with land bank and all that stuff. That is so important for nobles. Nobles getting out of prison. What? Hey man, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Scientific School got noble houses, got the BBT houses. Yeah. Yeah. But see, we don't have nothing. Everything is government mandated. You don't have to get in trouble like that. You don't got to be out of prison. It can be a circumstance. What, man? I need the transition. Man, I applied for a job out in Arizona. I got the job. I don't have nowhere to move. Well, Sheikh Goodman Bainim, you a member or you a student. You supporting the Temple and School of Body. You come to the Noble House until you transition. We should be having companies, building them. Like we have a tea company. We have MorrisHaberdasher.com. This is what I tell people. Brothers can be, which I call ambassadors for what? Our brand. I give noble stuff. This is what I'll be telling you. If I'm connected to somebody that got all these things going on, and I know people, and hey, I need to help you do this. How? Because you can get your finder's fee. We got things. I'll be trying to find my way. It's just like if you getting commission and you say, man, these books cost expensive, and this brother got it, and you know people that got these that want these books. I'm gonna connect to him. Or if you need she-mags and turbans, I'm going to be an ambassador for this brother. While I'm doing my other thing, it's about a conglomerate. It's about all these things. I'm making money. I can get into a fashion where I done looked inside myself while I'm looking for a job. I done figure out how to do X, Y, Z, D, E. So when you start working again, your job is just extra. Now you like, man, I done got with these brothers. My spirit changed. My outlook changed. These brothers is doing a solid. They're using their money to build infrastructure. These brothers own homes that we can go to for study and research. And they have temples and libraries. That's what this is all about. So yes, you're not going to be the only one that lose your job. You're not going to be the only one that lose your job, brother. You just the only one that'll admit these things as we going when we going in the midst of the storm. And that's when you get things off of you. I tell people, pressure busts a pipe. When you honest, no man, and when your heart is pure like yours is, there's no shame. You can put it all on the altar. Why? Because if it's something bothering me, I gotta let it out. You be with somebody and the sun come on and start crying, you be like, what's wrong? Nothing, something wrong. Something has triggered something. So if we going through a financial situation, baby, you gotta put that on the altar. You gotta do your voodoo. You better do your Orisha. You better do your voodoo. You better put that penny on the railroad tracks. I be telling people, it's like, come on. Man, listen. Y'all don't believe a lot of stuff I be saying. When I be talking about spirits, when y'all be hearing Bobby Hemmett and stuff, it's a lot of stuff in here. It's a whole note and things. This was about like a couple years old. It's a note in here. I'm almost where I want at. I did my voodoo. No disrespect. And I'm not saying what works or what would not. I'm just telling you me. If it's something that I want, that's going to be on my mind, on my meditation, on my contemplation all day. It's going to be all my day. And I ain't going to put no cap to it. This is what I'm telling you, Noble. So in the midst of your storm, in the midst, I'm sure you can see the sun. I'm sure you can see the sun. And if you grind the right way, it's going to happen. Sometimes you might have to switch fields. But that's the thing about being a part of a brotherhood and being a part of people. You can be like, man, I'm part of something, man. This brother can show me this, boom, boom, boom. I might have to make a transition. Like I tell all my muftis, what are you willing to do? Some people say, I'm not going to do this. Well, that's your problem, because there's a lot of things that I'm going to do. It's too many things that I'm not going to say I'm not going to do. I've done a lot of things, and I had to learn. I came out here at Amazon with a manager at Amazon. I worked for a trading company where we traveled all the way to Arizona, North Arizona, all in the mountains of Arizona. And if you move in all your expensive items, we had to make crates. You know, with the electric saw and a nail gun and all that. I ain't never know how to make no crates or no double stack crates. I learned it. And I made a living doing it. But some people like, man, I ain't gonna do that. Why? It's hard. It ain't nothing hard if you want to willing to learn. And so that's what I'm telling all my brothers and sisters. I hope we get into the day where we support something good. I hope we continue to ask questions. I give all my information to all my brothers and sisters that's looking, that's lost, because we lost and we are found now. And we have something that we can hold to. But it do take a couple finances. And everything goes to building the temple, no matter how much or how little. So brothers and sisters, I love y'all. Anything y'all need, remember, don't go through nothing alone. Talking things it releases a dopamine. When you're going through something, just walk for a minute. All these positive things, because when things like this happen, the first thing we do is go into a mode. We'll look in the mirror, we start not liking ourselves. We'll stop getting our hair cut, we'll stop dressing. No, we prepare for the storm. Save a little bit. Have these conversations. Talk to the right people. Let a person know this is what I'm going through. Hey man, like I'll say a little bit, but during this time, I'm in a situation. Especially if you have a mate. This is what I tell people, things is gonna happen. But now when you go through it again, when you get another chance at trying something again, you can say, man, number one, I gotta start budgetizing. I gotta start prioritizing. I gotta start saving something. And if I'm part of a community that I've been supporting, that community can come together and say, hey man, here go a love token. Like me and our Muftis do. Like how we got equipment and how we buy things and how we go on trips. We call it a circle. That's what we do and how we do businesses. How we got all our designs on the Moorish Haberdashery page. It's all of us coming together. One body, many parts. And that's what you get with a community. As we grow the community and either our community grow to be a multi-million-dollar organization and brotherhood, temple and school, then a lot of people will see like, damn, this is a multi-million organization, just like those mega churches. That ain't nothing but a big stadium. This is what I'm telling people, with the power of the people. And then when brothers have these small situations, it can be easy cover. Why? Because you're going to come work for the temple and school. You a student. Now you remember all these things. This is what comes with the ministry when people making millions and millions of dollars and the people are donating the money. Everybody don't need help at the same time. But if we dealing with money and money is coming in and I'm the so-called minister of the sheep and I'm a multi-million-dollar operation off free tax-exempt money and I'm giving people a tax-exempt receipt, you telling me when people that's rocking with us, when they come into a little situation like this, we can't help them get over the hump? We should, especially if they was supporting with how much or how little they can consistently. That's what I'll be telling people. When you do what you can do from the heart, no matter how much or how little, the body have to come back and fill that void. Why? Because it's coming from the heart. And when things come from the heart, that's all you can deal with. And that's what I tell people. But we have to be able to put something at the altar. We have to be willing to do that. So when things come down, we won't be afraid to say, man, I'm in this situation. We won't be embarrassed. We only embarrassed when we in uncharted territory waters. But when you with family, it's no embarrassment. Because what? We done put something in there. No matter how much or how little. You need something to cover you for the time to time or for week to week. But if you on that grind, if you're getting up every day, it's all ways to get a job. You Amazon, you go to places, you do all that. You might have to do something different for the meantime. Like I said, if you're really in a distress mode, you might have to go somewhere where you know you can get the job right then. I'm telling you, a job you can get right now is at Amazon. You don't have to go to a fast food restaurant. Right now, I'm telling you, anybody, you can go to Amazon. And if Amazon ain't hiring right through, you go to through a temp service. Now in Arizona, the temp service is called Integrity. You go through Integrity Staffing, and right now you can get hired, and you can get hired straight in through Amazon and get a blue badge. So if you don't have nothing going on for you, and you say this, that, and the other, you can go to Amazon and get a job. How I know? I know Negroes that had tattoos all over their face out of prison working at Amazon, and they say that's the best thing ever. And then you will see a lazy Negro say, oh, Amazon's so hard, I was sweating, I had to eat my food fast in 30 minutes. So go to prison. Go to prison and see what happened, and see what you get out and be complaining. And that should be a stepping stone for anybody that's going through something, especially a young man or anybody that want to transition. That's easy money. And then the money you making, if you're dealing with a body, that means we doing business. That means I'm saying what skill you got. Or you know you want to glaze tubs, or you know how to clean tubs, clean pools. We're going to turn this to a business. Now we're going to market it. Now we're going to advertise it. Now we're going to do this the right way. Now we're going to go places and stuff and solicit these people. And now we're going to do somebody's for free to show them that we can do the work because it's all ours. We are employees. Now we're going to get contracts. That's how we do. We're going to use social media to show before and after pics. We're going to use all these avenues to use our finances to build some of the things that we can do. Business. And that's what we do here at the BBT. So once again, we've been going for Almost 3 hours. It's time to go. Yep. I love y'all. I'll see y'all about like 5:30. Please support our temple and school if you would like. If not, I understand. If you don't have it, I understand. Please keep coming. But when you have it on your heart to give, never hesitate. My email, goodmankary@gmail.com, GOODMANKHARY@gmail.com. My office number is 602-473-8767. If you want to give a donation, that's attached to Zelle. We also own Venmo at Burning Bush Tabernacle, BBT Science Temple. You will see a picture of me at the podium. And we also own PayPal at paypal.me/IBNAELBEY7. And once again, send me an email if I can send you some literature for your donation. If I can send you something, you're going to be like, damn, this costs thousands of dollars. This brother sent me this. Yes, because I love you. Because I want you to have the wisdom. I love you that much. And we're going to teach the wisdom. And we're going to have a temple in school. And I want y'all to be students. And I want y'all to share this on y'all social media. I want y'all to share this. I want y'all to invite people. Because if you hear, it got to be somebody that you love. It got to be somebody that you were talking to prior before you came here and found me. And I asked you, where were you at? Because this can't be the first time that anybody on social media, it can be. So if this is not the first time, share this with people. Don't bury me in the ground and got some good. Share with other people. Some people can take it and some people might be able to help in different manifestations that you can't. Or inspire you to help in another way and say you can and you should. And say, why haven't you introduced me to this brother or to this right here? If we can't be able to do all the things, don't hold back and don't hold nobody else back. Bring them to the storehouse. So please share this on your social media, family and friends, when we're teaching. And subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube channel at Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. Peace, light, and illumination.